Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we have a wonderful regimental battle for you. And we have our announcers here, Asgard and Eagle, and that one, Sevi. And we have our field reporter today, Royal Ace. Our two maps today are Reno's Fall and Colquit's Defense. How is everyone's day going?
Well, I'm doing
Good.
pretty fine right now. Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good as well.
So sweet. What do you guys think a Union or Confederate strategy for Reno Falls is going to be?
Well, looking at Reno's, I mean, usually that map is, I mean, compared to all the other maps in the South Mountain map cycle, it's not the worst map for the Union. But you know, I've seen people try new things, so I have no idea what to look forward to going into it.
Yeah, usually for Renos you get that CSA trying to take that wooden fence, or the Union pushing up and trying to hold that and keep the CSA in their spawn. But also you have that disadvantage with the Union artillery on Renos being super far back. So I think that might be kind of a detriment to the Union game plan if they decide to use artillery.
Well, especially because there's only this isn't the smallest or largest server ever. It's just around 188 people. So, you know, the Union won't be able to man that entire fence. There will be an area where Confederates will have a significant area to get through. You know, they can go through really far left in the forest, or really far right to the open field. So I don't really know what to expect.
All right, that sounds good. If you guys remember what Colquit's Defense is, what are you thinking for that on both sides?
You know, the fishbowl. If the Union are going to win either of the map, it's going to be that one. If yeah, assuming that they go left down the hill and into the woods, they have a pretty good chance at winning.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, you can see both of the overlays of the map on the screen. If you do see an A, which you can on Colquit's Defense, that's just where the artillery is positioned. You can see point of contention, where each team spawns, and all that wonderful stuff about the map information. Now we will just be waiting for the game to start. So we're gonna cut to our spectator screen right now, and we'll just get his first point, his
Oh,
FPS point of view, whatever you want to call it.
sorry, I'm near right now.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, you know, these mustering maps are always fun because you get to see. I don't know. It just interests me to see like how much of each side is at main. That really, I don't know if that determines anything. You can probably like tie, you know, percentage of team at main to percentage of wins, right?
Hmm.
Um, but you know, people usually get really sick of like Eastwood Skirmish. What's the other one? What is the muster map in Harper's Ferry?
Oh,
I can't think of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Union usually have to run up a steep hill right at the beginning. Oh,
Yeah,
what
I
is
can't
that
think of
name?
the name. Oh, it's Maryland Heights. Maryland Heights. There we go. That
Maryland Heights.
people are gonna
Okay.
be laughing at me. Yeah. And then over here on Garland Stand, you know, it really is just like people get bored of it. So I don't know how long they're gonna last. It is 5 after, so any second now should be around it.
That is true.
So did you already announce the sides?
No, I did not. Would you like to go ahead see who you're seeing on the scoreboard?
Okay. Well, it looks like wow, that's really off balanced. 116 Confederates to 74 Union. Well, I think that's probably why they're delaying. But if you look, it looks like almost completely it is First Corps, APIVB, and AP 20th New York, AB, 10th Georgia, and that's about it, I think, over there. And on the Union, we have the 7th Massachusetts, the 1st Maryland, the 7th Massachusetts Company A. Is that different than this 7th Massachusetts? Nope, they're both Company A. No, this is 7th Massachusetts Company B. Oh, I see. 7th Massachusetts Company A, 20th New York, 5th Florida. Anybody else over there missing? I don't think so. 5th North Carolina. Okay, well, it looks like people are really like out of their regiments. You know, like there's people all over the place on both
Yeah,
sides.
that is true. We will have all the regiments discords in the description. We will confirm what all of them are afterward. They should be in the thumbnail as well. So, and we will try to get this information before the match. Threw this together last minute, so apologies.
Yeah, these I really do think that that one of these groups are gonna have to move over. So they'll have to move over around like 15, 20 people, maybe yeah, around 20 to make it even. Um, so I imagine the AP, IVB, and AP could probably make up that gap. So that's probably what they're negotiating right now, or maybe one of the other groups in the first score.
Yeah, that would be my guess if the that the AP would travel to the Confederate side.
Or Union side. They're on the Confederate
Yeah,
right
sorry.
now. There's a Mr. Honk. Got a Canadian goose. So one of the coolest parts about this entire map, in my opinion, that really never gets like thoroughly looked at, it's really only used like a focal point of attacks, is this house. This house, as far as I can tell, is a unique model. Like almost every other model, you can find like 7 or 8 places in War of Rights. Like most of the houses are, which again, there's no problem with that, but like
Hmm.
there's no other. I can't think of any other singular houses. I've been able to find almost every other house model on like the Drill Camp server on a different map. But
Yeah, I mean that's
some of
just interesting. Oh, they got a bed up there too.
Yeah, some of the beds, if you've ever seen, are just big pillow models on top of a frame. Like they just have a pillow and then they have a giant pillow model, and that's really funny usually.
That's funny. That's
Oh, somebody's saying send Ivy over. They're saying
I'm outside your window.
Buenos
your
dias,
walls.
se acaba.
he's in his
I'm
walls,
in your walls.
guys.
on your
He's in the
walls.
walls.
He's in the
There-
walls.
I'm actually in your
Can I get a
floorboards.
There are
That's my
Confederates
log
in the
game.
floorboards.
Yeah, let's do it. Get banned,
I wonder how
bitch.
common it was to actually paint your log cabin.
Almost worth it.
I would think
You
not.
feel lucky,
Why
bud?
would you paint a log cabin?
No, I already have one.
Is it waterproof a little bit more?
I guess.
I mean,
I mean,
like,
it looks
maybe
kind of
it's just
nice it being white. If that's white, it looks kind of. Yeah, that's white.
yeah. I mean, it's well, I mean, on low graphics, it doesn't look very good, I guess. It doesn't actually look that bad, especially from far away. I mean, like from right here, that's not that bad. I like the I'm just obsessing over the stuff while they balance out the teams.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
I think I've seen this well model somewhere else. Oh,
How
that's a
deep
very
is it?
useful well.
That's sad. It's just dirt.
I've never actually seen that before.
The
I
rope
mean,
just
can
goes
you
straight
see
into
that?
the dirt.
Yeah. Well, you probably can't actually see that from head level.
No, you can't,
Like
and there's
like
no
you'll
way
get like
to.
stopped like right here.
Yeah, there's no way to look over either. So yeah.
That's funny. Oh, this is a Taco Bell going to the Confederates.
Big Mac and
Sorry, this is Taco Bell. We don't sell Big Macs.
okay, that's fine. I'll take a fillet of fish, a big fry, and a Dr Pepper.
Alright, sadly, sir, our ice cream machine is broken right now.
You work here. You work. You work here.
You have to
Oh,
go to the next
oh wait,
window,
you're on
man.
the outside. Okay,
Oh,
you know
God.
what?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
we're wrapping this place. We're wrapping it together.
That escalated quickly.
No, I'm wrapping it
I don't
first.
blame them. I mean, these ice cream machines, they're always broken.
I'm wrapping it first.
The two robbers are arguing over who's robbing it. Dude, we don't even. Why are you even bothering making like commentary? We can just like watch these guys.
I know they're doing such a great job for us. That's great.
How much money can they? Oh my God! If they die, they die forever now. Are they gonna start killing each
Not
other?
respawn. This is huge.
Oh,
McDonald's doing a last stand defense
Well,
here.
he said it was a Taco Bell, but then the other guy just kept ordering McDonald's food items.
Interesting. Well, it looks
then,
like
like-
the situation was resolved, or no one died from that.
They can't get out.
Doing a little trolling, as we can see.
The magic of mustering rounds. It definitely
Yeah.
brings a bit of the randomness of pubs into a normal game, which is a welcome acceptance for me. Looks like whoever is moving over might not be moving over during this round, or maybe they haven't decided who's moving over yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, too.
This is the magic of regimental matches, where well, it's really interesting how, like, if I remember correctly, again, I think I might be slightly wrong on some of this history here. I can't start moving forward. Huh, weird.
You
Give
can
me
re-
a second. I can't
you can
start moving.
You don't need to be spectating right now.
Oh, there he goes. I fixed it. Well, I
Oh,
think
I
I know how
see.
to fix it when that happens now. If I remember correctly, the first core was AB. Like, it was first core AB, and that was it. And then the WD joined first core. So now that I remember at least when I was courting, it was really complicated to have to fit around these guys, because that's just how that works. That's
Mhm.
interesting. They're in last stand and final push, but in this screen it says breaking.
Very interesting. War of Rights is a perfect game. No bugs at all.
I'm
So-
gonna immediately go. I'm gonna go send this to Trusty Jam by mail.
By mail.
I'm gonna have it telegrammed to him.
Yes. And I
Ooh, there's
will
some murdering
say,
happening over here.
I will say this is very rare for regimental.
Did you see that
match.
guy? That guy got killed by like 2 miles away. I guess maybe someone's having ping issues over here. Almost 200 players though.
Yeah, that's good at least. We'll get some good fighting if it starts. This is very rare usually for a regimental match. Usually things get going right away, but we could see it's
Yeah,
just taking a while.
I think probably somebody overbrought. It's likely that either the A or the first core really overbrought by like a lot. Like that they overbrought by a lot, or that the Yankees just underbrought by a lot. So I don't know, because usually, I mean, it goes without saying that the first core is the largest group in the server, right? And yet the AP IVB and AP 20th New York or AP 20th Maine, they're on this team with them. So that was I don't really know. Maybe they expected to have less people, because it doesn't seem like they really needed that in coordination. I don't know. Oop. They ended the round early, so maybe they're just playing with this. Do we have any
Possibly, or they're just restarting the round and then switching teams up, or maybe they're
That
just
could be
just accepting their fate now.
Yankees are thinking that they don't get a chance.
Yeah, no, and yeah, that'd be tough.
It always weirded me out that they I don't know, the way that the flags are held, like their hands just don't look natural on that screen.
Like, are they too big?
So we can see that since I joined in. Oh, if anybody didn't know this, if you join in a round late, it only shows you the cutscene that you were there for. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that
if we
is
were
cool.
really tactical, sorry.
No. I was just making the side comment. Continue.
If we were really tactical, we could like space out a bunch of people to join at different times. That way you get a full like I think it's supposed to be 30 seconds right here. A full 30 seconds for like each little movement.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be interesting to see.
Actually, now thinking about it, nah, that wouldn't work because like they'd progressively get slower. Like the first one would be normal speed, the guy who's did the whole game.
I see.
No, that really wouldn't work.
All right, and a feature we're trying out for this test tonight is we now have a halftime / post-game screen. As you can see, it shows blankness underneath map 1, map 2, and overall winner. That's because they're supposed to show who wins each round. So we will see how this works.
This is
and see
Cox
how well
Push
it
right
works.
here. This is Cox Push. The next map is
Cut
Reno's
back.
Fall. Give me a second. Game without skirmish. So usually Garland Sand does go to Cox Push. So they did put in their correct next map, which is Reno's Fall. I don't know if this is live or not, but I would definitely be yelling if I was one of these Yankee players right now. Like I would not be allowing the Confederates to start the game with a what is that 35 player up,
Yeah, for sure. It would not be fair whatsoever.
So he just went over the historical stuff for Reno or Cox Push, and now this is the correct map. Gotta click the buttons.
All right, let me know when you're in.
I'll be in a couple seconds.
All right.
13 seconds.
Sounds good.
I was able to click those buttons fast. Remember back in the day when you gotta like drag the slider to get in at the correct time?
Mm-hmm. Good
That was fun.
times.
Alright, I'm spawning in right now.
Well, you just missed the first respawn wave. I'm right now. There we go, and now I'm flying around.
All right, sweet.
Ooh,
Here we
I
go.
have the update on who moved over. I can hear the IVB that they said full kit IVB. So I see the IVB moved over. So it is still outnumbered by 14. That doesn't sound very sound to me, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than 20, I would say.
If they moved over this 10th Georgia, it would even out almost perfectly from what I can tell. But you know what? If that's how they want to play, that's how they want to play. So let's see what's happening right now. This is a regular event, right? This is the first regular event we're doing, I think. Or at least that I've been here for.
It appears I joined the CSA because I didn't know the IVV was moving over to the Union team, so for the first round, or until I die next, I'll be a part of the CSA team.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully we can get some of the CSA intel from you while you're still on the CSA.
Haha.
Oh god, these guys are loud. So looking over here at the wide map, the Union are doing well, what seems to be the common strategy nowadays, which is to pull back in this corn. Generally speaking, especially on higher pop servers, a lot more often it is we see holding on this fence and in these woods here just to stop them from getting on the point in the first place. Because as we've been able to tell from a lot of maps, given the attackers control the point, well, it no longer instantly ensures. Well, I say no longer. It was like 4 years ago now. Anyways, well, it no longer instantly assures that they win. It definitely gives them a lot more options as the attackers.
For
So,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like the Confederates are splitting up almost evenly, a little more on the left. Some are going left into the woods, and the other going right through this open field into the right woods. Split down this road. You get a lot more room over there on the left to move around than on the right. I don't. Is there a road over here? I don't know. I think there's a
I don't
small
know,
road
yeah.
that's near the boundary. Yeah, here's the small road that's near the boundary. I don't think you can go all the way to it. Yeah, you can't go all the way to it. And you know, while we're waiting for the sides to get over here, let me try to find the crash bush. This bush right here. If you don't know, this game is a well-balanced game with no bugs at all. Is it this bush? Or is
I
it?
don't know.
No, because it's a very lone bush. It's not that bush. Yeah, okay, I had it right the first time. I was just doubting myself. Or is it this bush? No, it's definitely the other bush. I'm being dumb. I had it right. This bush right here is a very special bush. If you used to walk into the core of it, your game would crash. Full black screen, cancel Alt F4. Meanwhile, a Confederate left over here, Confederate right are advancing on the Union left. The Union are not there to oppose them.
Yeah, it's looks like you got maybe 1 or 2 skirmishers there, or just scouts. Let them know
I think
if they're
there's people
coming.
who want to die to line, you know?
Yeah.
See these guys? Okay, look, yeah,
Now
okay,
they're
no, never
pulling
mind. They did
back?
not want to die to line. They were definitely
I
scouts
think
up
they
there.
were just scouting him, yeah, because they just pulled back instantly.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of
Oh,
smart.
God.
What
Do
was
these
that?
guys even see them? I'm sorry, but they would have much better shots. Okay, yeah, no, they're just advancing to get shot at.
Interesting to push forward. We saw a guy just die there. His arm is having an absolute heart attack. But
No, I
interesting
didn't
of the
see it.
Union to push forward.
Yeah, it
Especially,
definitely.
like, you would think they'd do that at the beginning, not as the rebels are approaching them and can hit some people like they did there.
Yeah, there's much better defensive positions. I mean, if they were holding up there with the Confederates, I should really start pressing right click. These flags are getting annoying. If they were holding up there, they'd be a lot better. Looks like the 4th NC are up here. I think the Avi was up here too, if you heard them right. I think that they have moved to a different position though. Am I right?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think those scouts were just IVB and they pulled back to their lines.
Okay, so here you can see the 7th, the 20th, and the IVB's over here now, doing a much more conventional hold on this fence line. They have this corner as a background and the fence in front of them, which makes it very hard to see them. Meanwhile, these Confederates are moving on their right. It looks like they're unopposed. Looks like
Yeah.
they're unopposed indeed. I'm sorry, they're not unopposed. I did not see these guys. At the corner of my eye, they're the 5th North Carolina, putting up some good fire on them.
Yeah, once they get up, I don't think they'll expect the Union there, and maybe a couple of them will drop. I wonder if they'll keep pushing. Actually, they do see them, and they are volleying them.
Yeah, only hitting one person or two. You know what? If the Confederates are not the type to early cap, which I don't know if these commanders on the First Corps side are willing to early cap, this might be a really good situation for the Union.
How is this map? How does this map usually play out to normal strats?
I mean, I remember back in the day it was like a really fun Union map. I couldn't tell you right now though. It's a very random map, although it does seem to be, just ticket-wise, a lot easier for the Confederates. This point is very hard for the Union to retake once they lose it. And since they've already given it up to the Confederates, if the Confederates wanted to early cap, which looks like they're seeing some skirmishers somewhere to do. Oh no, they're just charging. It'd be very hard for the Union to stop an early cap. I don't think I've ever seen a game where the Confederates capped at all, and then the Union ended up winning. I think once the Confederate caps a point, it's very hard for the Union to win. That being said, the Confederates have a very small amount on this road right here.
Yeah,
Is Royal
interesting.
Ace
They
gonna
would
go to
go
the
on
Union
the.
yet, or? Oh, sorry.
Interesting, they go on the logs there, right behind, because the Union can flank them or at least hit them a lot easier there than it would be on the stone wall or behind the wood. Completely.
The Yankees are yelling at the log pile, and these guys are yelling fire at will, and now they're yelling fall back. They are not willing to early cap, it sounds like. Unless maybe they have a designated scout for that. Do they have a scout in the middle? Maybe these guys over here don't. I think these guys are on capture point. Yeah, they're on capture point. I don't think they know it though.
That is interesting. That point is really far away.
Oh
Or
yeah, it's
the,
very
the
oblong.
boundaries.
I'm 90% sure these guys are on capture point, or maybe it's these guys. This I remember mapping out. Oh, it could be this guy.
This one dude is about to
You
capture
see that
point.
flag? I just saw
Yeah,
a flag.
I did. Yeah, it disappeared.
I
Maybe
don't
because
know.
you're
Yeah,
close
no
to
worries.
him? I don't know.
Well, he's not on the side of the fence, so I don't know. Well, it looks like they are not willing to early cap. Looks like they're trying not to, which I think is a bad decision, personally.
Yeah, Union got, as long as they stay back in the corner there, they got really nice positions. And The only place the rebels could hit him is from the woods, and the Union would know that, and the Union can respond accordingly.
Yeah, looking at a really far aerial view, where it gives you less flags look signal, but now the flags are loading in. We can see that the Confederate advance on the left is forming a tight line, and there's a big gap in the middle with the Confederate clump on the right. Meanwhile, the Union has formed a much more conventional, almost like an L. Well, I'm not gonna say fishhook because it doesn't hook around, but it's like an L. So maybe they're trying to say L to the Confederates. Maybe it's a sign of their own losing. Who's this guy over here? Ooh, there's a guy off in the corner, Mr. 4th North Carolina himself. That is the entire regiment about to
The
get
entire
shot
4th
out of line.
North Carolina regiment is pushing
And
forward.
he's died out of line, costing his team 5
No.
tickets. Nice job, Mr. 4th North Carolina.
Surprising to see a CSA regiment on the Union team. Maybe some suspicion work, some spy work. What do you want to call that?
Ooh, yeah.
Sabotage. Maybe.
Sabotage. Well, it looks like I don't know how many 4th North Carolina guys there are, but I don't know. But I do see there are the 5th North Carolina, which are making up a sizable chunk, and the 5th New York Company A, 5th New York Company B, is made up mostly by the AP and the 20th New York and the 5th Florida guys. That's actually a lot of people. I say mostly when it's like 3 different groups. And again, I think that, well, this is very early on in the game. It's hard to tell who's winning this early. But Royal, from the person's view, what are you able to see?
Currently, we're just up here skirmishing in the middle of the woods, looking in on the road close to the cornfield, and they have that position behind the straight rail fence, and they're pretty concealed behind all the foliage right now. So we're just kind of taking pot shots at each other. There isn't much to see besides the flags behind them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is certainly true, especially when looking at corn. I've noticed is that it's hard to tell the enemy in front of it or in it. Like, look at what these guys can see. Zoomed in, even it's hard to see, but zoomed out, it's hard to see where the enemy stops. Whether the enemy's like body outline stops. You know, you don't get a good silhouette on them.
Yeah, you're just kind of like hoping your shot's in a good area. I mean, the Union flag running around there maybe might help you a hair, but.
Yeah, I mean, usually the Union flag shouldn't be this far forward, just to give it a less of a clear, like, front to back, edge to edge boundary of where the line is. If you don't know, generally speaking, when a person picks up a flag, they march near the center of the line back and forth. So you can assume that it only goes a little bit further to either end of where he's marching.
Yeah, and I mean, if the rebels can see that flag, I mean, it's very hard for them to see Union line right now, but if they can see that flag, they'll get a gist of where the center of the line is and just kind of shoot a little below it, and then that's almost a free kill.
Exactly. If you can see the flag and you can see the fence that the men are holding on, then it's well, you can make a pretty good approximate where the average enemy soldier is. However, may I just add that these guys are holding a great, I wouldn't even call it skirmish, it's a 1 or 2 man spaced line. These
very
guys are
beautifully
probably all
done.
information.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
Yes, these guys are holding it together very well, these 3 regiments up here on this fence. Let's see what the other regiments are doing over here on this right flank. Looks like the 5th Florida and the IVB are currently still holding the center, again, watching over this point. If they lose the point, it'll be very hard for them to retake it. The 1st Maryland with them there. It looks like the group on the right has taken really far right, and these guys have come in. So now it went from like an L to a U shape, if you can see from this view. Made a U shape. And we can see these enemies over here.
I wonder
Who are these
if they
guys
saw-
again? Do you remember?
I do not. I wonder if
this
they
the
saw
AP.
them, and that's why they changed from that L to a U. They turned that right
I
flank.
definitely do think it was reactionary to this, yeah. But these guys, they have to face the sun, and look at this view. It's very hard to see what you're shooting at. So although you can see the Union flag, you know, through the 2 fences, it does have a little bit of bullet protection, but more importantly is the stop of the view. So even though these guys can see directly at the Yankees, they cannot see each individual person very well.
Yeah, I wonder why the
And as that guy
rebels,
said, they're right on top of him.
the rebels wouldn't push up to the snake fence there, because now they got to shoot through almost 2 snake fences, and they can barely see them in the first place. A lot
Okay,
harder
now
to
to
see
face
'em.
off against the 5th, or not the 5th, the AP people, the 20th Maine people, these guys are now moving over. The 5th North Carolina and the 1st Maryland are now fighting, and the 5th Florida are now fighting next to each other against these guys. I don't know if you heard it, but this guy over here yelled permission to load buck and ball. It looks like these Confederates were using round ball. That's not decision address support, especially at this close range.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's already hard enough to hit them. Might as well give yourself any advantage that you can.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I just heard a buck and ball shot, but those guys are dead. Looks like anybody who jumps over this fence has a much less chance of living. I don't know why they're kneeling here. I would not recommend it. It's already hard enough to see. Yeah, he's yelling buck and ball, so if they're gonna die, they're gonna die anyways, you know?
For sure.
It's not something I'd recommend personally. But just in sheer volume of fire, the Yankees are winning here. It looks like actually they're holding fire now. At least one of the groups, maybe they're going to do a volley or something. Meanwhile, these Confederates, I hold it up behind this rock. Definitely getting suppressed here. Yeah,
For
they're also
sure.
losing a good number of men.
How is the left flank looking? Union's left, Confederate
Oh,
right.
yeah, sorry.
Anything change over here?
Looks
Not-
like they shifted a little bit. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There's not much
how's
change
it
going on right now. There's not much change going on right now. We're still in the same positions we were in about 2 minutes ago. Still shooting at that straight fence.
How is the Confederate team feeling? Are they happy? Do you think they're gonna win?
It seems like there's a bit of a confusion over capping because Major General Volkaren of the First Corps, he keeps saying get off cap point because cap point keeps going up, and we don't know currently who's on point doing that, capping the point. So we got to make sure that if we cap that point in the next few minutes, it does we can recover from that.
For sure. Thank you for the update. Yeah, trying to figure out the point is if you're capping point, that's always a mess sometimes, especially in
Yeah.
pubs. It's atrocious.
Yeah. I mean, with these Yankees doing little retreating volleys, if you didn't hear them, they're allowed to now fire at will. So what they're doing is they're going back down this hill a little bit to reload and going up to shoot. That's what they're doing. Which it really severely limits their accuracy, and men are more interested in just getting their shot off to get back and reload. So yeah. So especially with the Yankees playing a lot defensive like this, which they're doing everything which they can do to be defensive and save tickets. I don't know if I would be avoiding capturing the point, because if they capture this point and force the Yankees into a counterattack, they would be forcing them to attack them in these woods. And if the Yankees instead went towards the point, then the Confederates come on this stone wall here and just kill them all.
Yeah.
So,
So I see
yeah.
no reason why to delay capping the point.
Especially
As
on a
of
map
right
like
now.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, on hookers, like you can make the argument on like hookers push to some other maps, especially if they're like out in the open. Maybe you wouldn't want to cap instantly. I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't make that argument. But yeah, because it could be made.
Mhm.
Looks like there's some skirmishes over here on the right, the 5th North Carolina. I thought their regiment was over there somewhere. I could have sworn I saw their leader somewhere else, but I
Like
guess
a
that these are the
Fiat
skirmishers.
detachment. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't know. I think they're just gonna
If those
detach
rebels that are
their
coming up
lives
see them.
from. I think
Yeah.
they're just gonna attach themselves from their their heads.
Yeah, it would be a real shame. 5 tickets. That is
5 tickets here and there can really mean a lot to these Confederates. The Confederates are taking some losses over here, down on this fence. Well, they are facing off against a much larger enemy.
Yeah, no,
They only
way
got a
worse
fire, and I think
position
they hit a
too.
flag.
And I am out of buck and ball.
Ooh.
You've been
wonder if
alive.
I can
I mean,
find
you've
Royal.
been alive for like almost 10 minutes now on the rebel team, pounding away at the Union in that forest.
Yep.
Union in the corn.
Bjorn, correct. Apparently, corn nouns means forest.
I can see
No.
Royal.
Our beautiful
Ooh, that was a cool shot.
field reporter
but-
there taking shots.
I don't think the Geneva Conventions cover him from non-combat status. Non-combatant. So as we can see from here, and it's really interesting to see the bullets whiz through the smoke when you're zoomed in. It just looks a lot more clear. That bullet did just hit and go through this fence right here. That was interesting. But as you can see, the Confederates are usually spending a lot of their time just shooting randomly on this fence line, which would be good if the Yankees were still here. But instead, they're retreating down the hill to reload. So really, the longer this,
even if the Union get less kills by running up and doing their volley, independent fire volley, they're still avoiding a lot of deaths, which might help them in the long run.
Yeah, I would. My focus as the defender, especially in this kind of situation where the tickets are so bounced against you, would not be to get kills, but to drive down that black timer. And the longer, every second this timer goes down, is a little bit more likely that the Union will win this map. Which isn't, I don't know. I don't really know how I would describe this map bias-wise, but it goes without saying that they have a lot less tickets.
Yeah, for sure.
Now up to
So,
209 people. We've gained a few people since we started the broadcast.
was the side more even? Sides more even?
It's up to a 20-man difference actually.
That's what we had before the switch happened. So, yeah, it's
What's-
even more important now that the Union preserve their tickets, especially if they're outnumbered by 20 people.
Give me a second. Oop, there we go. Okay,
got it.
I got it to fix itself. Sorry, it looks like whenever I put W and tab, it just keeps going. Yeah, there we go. And then I have to press W escape, and then it gets rid of it.
I see. Yeah,
That's weird.
if you're up by 20 people, I see. Especially, there's no reason not to cap the point.
Because
Especially because it's so hard.
this
Yeah.
point is very, very oblong. Because I mean, we've measured it all the way out to like this road right here. You can definitely capture it from the stone wall. If the Confederates just did a broad push everybody onto this fence line stone wall combo, you know, there's not that many Union soldiers here. And they could probably charge those guys out, then hold the stone wall, and then they'd be clear sailing. Of course, that would leave their flank open, but I'm sure they want close quarters combat with their bucking ball and larger numbers, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they get flanked, they still got larger numbers. They still got people coming in. And if they cap the point, they can just pull off right away, find some nice cover, wait for the Union to try to retake the point.
The way I used to put it was that if you think about it in that kind of scenario, capping the point does nothing but pause the timer and bring down the tickets. And it looks like now the Union have some men on point, which is definitely the good decision to do. Let's see what unit it is. This is 6th New York IVB AP. So they are now on this point marker, making it that much harder for when the Confederates want to capture. Again, I think it's a major Confederate blunder to allow these Union this great opportunity, you know?
Yeah,
These guys
especially
are
'cause
definitely taking the opportunity.
Yeah, Union hasn't even hit engaged yet, and we're like almost 15 minutes into this match now. So
I remember back when the round actually started at 45 minutes instead of like 43.2.
yeah.
You know, those are the days. But now we can see that. Oh, now they hit engage. You speak of the devil cometh evil. Come on. Whoa! Whoa! I just went to the earth. I didn't know you can go through the earth. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
Like,
did.
through.
As we have found out throughout
Whoa.
this recording, War of Rights is a perfectly game. That actually, no, that is not a bug. That's what the
don't
earth
think it's
looks
a bug?
like underneath. You know, when you dig
Oh,
up the
really?
ground, just more stuff spawns in there. You know, usually there's nothing there.
Oh. Wait, Murphy. I just heard one of the Confederate soldiers. Well, I guess they are the 5th North Carolina, so usually they're playing Confederate. But I guess just for this event, they're playing a Union. Just like how the AP over there is playing Union, even though they're in the 20th Maine, or they're playing Confederate. So that's pretty weird. How like the two of the cross-sided players are playing against each other. You know?
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
interesting.
AP finally going up. Maybe they're gonna do a charge finally.
Maybe,
Nope,
hopefully.
they're doing a volley. All right. Nope, they're doing a volley. Okay, well, they're actually, you see, now they're having a good strategy where they actually hold and then they do the volley. I've seen a lot of groups, of course, don't give anybody kills though because they're just the unfortunate nature of their cover. Meanwhile, the Union, while they advance, they will have none of that hill difference. You know, it'll be much easier for the Union to see these guys down here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if they're getting kills.
I saw
here.
2 losses.
Yeah.
That just is the nature of, you know, like this hill right here, how it goes from steep to flat very quickly, you know, it tapers off. It makes it really easy for these guys at the top to get more kills. Ooh, I should have pressed T earlier. It is now in counterattack at 24 minutes, 16 seconds after the game. Unit had engaged. The Confederates have entered a counter, or the Confederates have captured the point, but the Union to a counterattack. I'm not going to go into counterattack mechanics right now, but wow. Okay, so it looks like they were waiting for engaged. I guess that is a strategy you could do. I don't know if it was worth losing an extra 20 minutes on the timer, you know?
Yeah, in case anything goes wrong. And the difference is that the gold timer, the counterattack timer, starts at a lot lower time than if it were at battle ready. Battle ready is 12 minutes,
20
right?
minutes. Battle ready is 20,
20
engaged
minutes.
is 12.
There we go. I screwed that up. My apologies.
So it looks like here that the Confederates postponed capping by around like 15, maybe 10, 15 minutes in order to gain themselves 8 minutes of counterattack. So maybe they were just trying to like leverage their bets there. Maybe that's how they value the time. So definitely their strategy here seems that they're going to plan. Looks like both sides are thinking that they're going to plan. Of course, I feel like a broken record here from that other event, but these shooting them is not. Oh, they are not shooting it any longer. Wow, that is a good move. They're immediately moving onto the stone wall. That is perfect. That's exactly what the Union needs to be doing right now. Of course, the Confederates still have bucking ball. They said break reloads, fall back. Confederates are falling back, letting the Union shoot them in the rear. How many kills are they going to get? Quite not that many. All right, a few guys accidentally jumped over, it looks like. And the Confederates are now charging. Looks like the
Interesting
Union should not have
approach
wasted
there.
their volley.
Here we are, first major melee of this round, really, surprisingly.
Looks like Union are winning. I know it's like just horrible to look at with all the right-click flags, you know.
Yeah, for sure. We got our first-person view from our current Rebel player who has survived this whole time. Will he finally die here? Let's see it.
Oh, come on, now you just put the pressure on him. Come on, you
I
gotta kill somebody,
did.
Royal. Oh,
That guy got the officer. Our boy's still moving. Oh, and he
I saw him
finally
die.
goes down.
He got shot to a member of
Ow.
the IVB, ironically enough.
His own regiment ends his life.
I have been
Wow.
betrayed.
Well, weren't you the Confederate?
No, his whole regiment joined the Confederacy originally, and they all switched to Union. They
All right, now that I
betrayed.
have died, I'm switching back to the Union team, as that is what my regiment is.
Oh, here we can
Yes.
see a couple members of the AP who, majority of them were over there on the left. Confederates have now hit engage. That doesn't help the Union very much. In fact, it lowers the amount of tickets that they get back when they recapture the point. Um,
And who
if
won
you
that
don't know,
charge? Sorry, I didn't get to see
oh,
that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, the Confederates. It looks like the Confederates mostly won. Yeah.
That would make
Um,
sense. They're up 20 guys.
Yeah, they are. They are up. Well, a little bit less than 20 now. Now they're up 16 guys. The Confederates seem to be up and over again, charging Major General Volcaren leading the charge and dying, while none of his men followed him. That is awesome.
Yeah, Confederates don't have actually Union outnumbered them, I think, at the current moment. Union, this will
Looks like
probably.
100 to 107 to me.
I'm talking about at the fence here in the stone wall. Everyone else is
Yeah,
respawning.
why does the right
in.
click never work when you want it to work? Like I'm clicking right click and it's not giving me the flags.
Oh, so yeah, I think now would be a good opportunity, especially if Union won that charge. It seems they have more men in the area. This would probably be a good time to retake if they wanted to.
Yeah, certainly. But then again, these Confederates are on point also. So like I don't know if the point extends this far, but I know for certain that those Confederates right there are on point. So it looks like these units over here in this corner are pincered. I know it's hard to decipher all these names, but again, almost all the Confederates are First Corps or AP 20th Maine. The rest, all the other tags are Union. I know it's hard to see through the corn and through the time of day.
It looks like,
If you didn't know, oh sorry.
yeah, it looks like some rebels are moving in. I don't know if this is organized charge or just some rebels are going after the Union, or
It wouldn't be an unwise decision. Oh, that guy, he's trash talking. It wouldn't be an unwise decision. That guy just got shot. Let's see what's going over on the right real quick. I think the Confederates have advanced. Yes, they have advanced. Did they kill the Yankees or did they just leave? Looks like the
I'm
Yankees are
guessing.
just, okay, this guy's going to die to line. It's kind of awesome. Mr. 1-1. Awesome.
survived the point blank shot. Man's an absolute
Ooh.
legend. He's
He's
gonna get
escaping, he's
reinforcements
making sure not to
though.
die to
Oh,
line.
never mind. That guy's running away. No reinforcements for our
Yeah.
boy 1-1.
It's very wise to retreat from there. You would not want to make that engagement. These guys do not even know they're being flanked. Maybe they do. No, they do. They do. They're now moving a line order over there.
Rebels should really hop into the corn to conceal their cover a little more. I understand why though, because now they have to cover the snake fence when they're engaging in this melee.
If the Union charged here, they'd have a good chance at winning here. Just as a surprise charge. But it doesn't look like they're interested in that. I don't know why. The shooting down the tickets is not helping them. They've already wasted, the Union have wasted almost half their counterattack time and gained no territory and no benefit. So I don't know what they're doing here. You know, it
Yeah,
just seems like a big waste of time.
Union needs to start going for that point. Move all their troops to the right side and then try to use some of the hills like cover to get to the point. Because yeah, Union tickets
Looks like
don't
dude that
matter
out
as
of line
much.
lost right there. Yeah, well, I mean, it matters a little bit just like to notice how many lives you lost. You know, you don't hit final push. But I, like, at this point, like, they're so much below the Confederates. They might as well just start suiciding, charging towards that point right there, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be almost their best bet.
I honestly, think the rebels might have been smart for waiting for the Union to hit gauge before capping the point, because Union could have tried that strategy to knock the rebels or themselves down to final push and the rebels to last stand. Maybe that's why they waited to engage to cap the point.
I guess. I just think that they were being a little bit over cautious there. I think that capping at they're clearly winning here. Like they have a, you know, if I were a betting man, you know, they would be who I'm putting my money on. But at that point, I think that they would have had a much better chance if they just capped it immediately. Because really, think about it, where the lines haven't moved for like 20 minutes, right?
That is true.
Like 20 minutes ago. I mean, I guess for the exception of this this Confederate group on the far right, which is already so the lines literally haven't moved. They've retreated. They've retreated, right? That's all.
Yeah, they
That's
got
all.
beat back. Not surprising.
Yeah, I think they got shot, and then the remainder of them were charged out. And that's what it looks like. They did lose their flag in the rout, so it looks like their flag bearer got shot. And then the rest of them. This is a different group. This is a different group. The AP 20th Maine looks like they all died.
Oh wow.
So the Union, I don't know why the Union are not pressing their advantage here. They just killed the entire unit. They could be moving on these guys to get on point, maybe to flank them. If they were to move all through these woods over here, kill or try to charge through these guys, and then get on this rock wall. But I don't know. Are they just content to lose this round?
Yeah, I mean, Rebels. I mean, it's just very hard for the Union to win, regardless of what they do. It looks like they're charging out in the woods, just like you were talking about a moment ago. But yeah,
Ooh,
I
it does
mean,
certainly look like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be hard for the Union to win because if they charge down the middle, they got to deal with the guys on the woods and the stone wall. Or if they hold on to the stone wall, they got to deal with the guys on the rock in the middle, and it's gonna be hard to kill those guys.
Certainly, and while the charge going on the left is going, they're going to kill this first group, but then I imagine that these guys are just going to kill them, or maybe these guys, they're just, I don't know, with the buckbone, with everything else that's happening, it does not look very well in the Union favor on this left flank, which is why I don't really, I know that a lot of people do this nowadays, but I still think holding up there on that fence line, especially with almost 100, almost 100 players, exactly 101 players on your team. I think holding on this fence line in group 20, then 50 yards between your group 20, and a group of 20 in the woods, that's probably a much better use of your time than all going back to that corn. Because even though the Union, even if they do win this counterattack, right, odds are they'll drop the Confederates down to taking losses before they recap. And even if they do recap, they're going to have to hold for even longer. So, I don't know. They just gave the Confederates the opportunity.
There's so many
Yeah, and this
rebels on
annoys me.
point, though.
The Union. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong here. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'm like 90% sure that the point goes like right through that line. Almost 2/3 of their men are not on the point. But however, with this group over here pushing on the left, and with not that many Confederates over here trickling in, the Union are now outnumbering the Confederates on point. This
Yeah,
might give them, although all the pessimistic things I've been saying, it might give them a better chance to win. Confederates are hitting taking losses though, so even if they do cap, taking losses at 24 minutes is not very good.
indeed, that is for sure.
They don't understand that he's saying I don't know why it's capping. Okay. I
The
still
ghost
think it'd be
of
better
the
bet to
Union,
shift.
the dead Union, are on
Indeed.
point.
They have killed 7 Confederates with
No
1
way.
buckenball shot. Wait, no,
No
they're not
way.
buckenball shots. So here we can see that the numbers have evened out. So thankfully, this is a more fair game.
Guys, be on the left side.
You know, I hate to be so pessimistic, but I have a feeling that the Union are going to cap and then immediately go back to their old position. And which I mean, what else are they going to do? They can't charge these guys out. Like they
Yeah,
really have
no.
to just box themselves in. By going back there in the corn, they give themselves one option for the whole game: go in the corn.
Yeah, and the rebels could just easily hold back. They still got 24 minutes to knock them down to breaking, and then just easily recap the point. My Union should probably just try to stay where they're at. Maybe send a group behind the
I agree.
wood to deal with rebels coming through the forest, or
I
push
agree.
them
If
up
they
a
send
little
a
bit.
10-guy group right here on this little line over here, maybe over here where these rocks are. Now there's some rock formations over here. If they're able to push these guys off and take these rocks, they can hold that stone wall well. Which I mean, maybe I'll eat my word. Maybe they're gonna not retreat. But if they retreat, I feel like they're just gonna give the game to the Confederates.
Yeah, for sure.
So now they win. What are they doing? Ooh, Confederates are advancing. In the corn. They're yelling in the corn. Okay. Yeah, they just I'm not holding out hope for them. They're all yelling break reloads, get in the corn. Shift in the corn. Every single group is shifting the corn. Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Royal, what do you think your odds are right now? Royal?
He might be focused on the battle or doing something else, which is fine.
Yeah, I guess so.
His mic was having problems earlier, so it might be a total possibility that he is running into issues, which again is perfectly fine.
Yeah, okay. Well then, I guess we won't be able to see that perspective. But again, right now the Confederates are again in control of point. So although the point is Union now, the Confederates have 24 minutes to drop the Union down to breaking, and then they'll be able to capture without a counterattack. Or alternatively, they can just capture now, and then the Union will only have a 7-minute counterattack. Or is it 6 minutes? It's 7, close enough, right? If the Confederates choose to capture now, though, they will put themselves, like Eagle said, in risk of hitting last stand. Because again, when you're in counterattack, your roles are flipped. So the people who were the defender now become the attacker, and they'll hit final push. People who were the attacker become the defender, and they'll hit last stand. And here's another fun fact: if the Union recaptures the point while the Confederates are like in breaking, so again the Confederates capture the point, drop to breaking, and the Union retakes the point, the Confederates will not instantly lose. However, the Confederates will instantly lose if they're in last stand. So that's just a little interesting difference there.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna have what we had at the beginning of the match. The rebels are just gonna try to shoot down the Union. This might take a
Mhm.
while, hit on the braking, and then take the point and win.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the group on the right, that was the AP 20th Maine, if I remember correctly. And if this is the AP 20th Maine, this is the AGL, and okay, this is also the AP 20th Maine. Looks like instead of doing that, they're charging straight over the point. So it looks like they are content to capture at taking losses.
I'm intrigued to why they pulled off once the Union capped, and now they're just running back on a minute or two later.
Maybe they were unsure of where the Union would go. You know,
Yeah, possibly. Didn't want to get
I
dealt
mean,
with
the
on the
Confederates
stonewall.
always had this avenue open of retaking this up here.
For sure, yeah. Unless the Union moved up to the rock there, which they haven't done all game.
Hmm. You know, although I've been saying cap this whole game, the Union are no more, or they're no less vulnerable than they were earlier in the game. I don't know why the Confederates choose to capture now when they didn't want to capture earlier. No, like waiting for breaking now would be a much better decision than waiting for engaged earlier, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very very interesting. Yeah, I would think after our little analysis here that this map is pretty CSA biased.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, especially with the more common strategy. Now, I wouldn't even say meta because it doesn't work, you know, of holding the corn.
Yeah,
Metas usually work.
Union's best strategy that you pointed out. If that is the best strategy, well, there's got to
Well,
be a
it's just
better
what I
one out
think would
there.
work better. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean, what
mean,
else would the
clearly the
Union
people
do
managed it.
though? I mean, I guess
They could
hold on the
hold
stone wall,
here.
hold half their guys in the woods, half on the stone wall.
It opens you up to the this area, but then you can just like up and over, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah,
You know, this is a lot of the maps like dissect the Union in half with like a road, and then the Confederates get to like come on straight on, you know. So the Union have to be in like a line, like on this road, while the Confederates are usually perpendicular to it, you know. So maybe the Union just want to be parallel in more traditional lines, because that just it is easier to not get flanked.
yeah,
I
and
think flanking though is overrated.
interestingly though. Oh, come back in a minute, but
Sorry.
the Confederates did cap the point now, and the timer
Mhm.
has once again stopped.
Mhm.
So we'll see if the Union can flip the Confederates to last stand and then win this game.
That's certainly what they're hoping, but I don't think they'll be able to do that, Eagle, because they're just sitting back and shooting. If they want to give them the last stand,
They should be aggressive, yeah,
they should just be suicide charging at this point, right?
for sure.
I mean, their whole goal should be to kill people out of line. And 7 minutes is not enough time to hit, people down to last stand by shooting. If line battles have taught us nothing, shooting does not drive down tickets. If nobody actually saw it in the War Rights community Discord, Tristram did say that in the next update you'll be 50% less impacted by muzzle flashes, like your friendly shooting. So your accuracy will be a little bit more stable while they're in line formation. So maybe that'll help with these kinds of shootouts out better.
Yeah, I would. It would help a little bit. And why do you think that flanking, at least on War of Rights, is overrated?
Well, think about it this way. If the Union were in one thin line here, one man deep right on this fence, right? And the Confederates were down here, like that's about 100 yards away, shooting down this fence, what can they see? Maybe the first 2 or 3 Yankees? It gives you a very good gauge, at least when you're shoulder to shoulder, of how many men you're losing. And you'll only be losing a small section of them. I know it sounds bad, but it keeps it localized. It keeps you where you can see it. A lot of the losses go on unnoticed by commanders because it happens just outside their line of sight. Meanwhile, especially if you're on the other side of the stone wall, like you can only hit so few people. Look at this. If the Union were in a big line on the other side of that bush right there, so from here to here, and then using the that as cover, they would be able to get really good shots on them right there. But instead, they were restricting themselves into this corn, which does not give them very much movement.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean,
yeah, that's my opinion.
yeah, Union's gotta be aggressive at some point here. Rebels just holding what they did when they had the point earlier. Some guys on the rock there. Looks like a bunch, maybe in the woods. It looks like it to the on the
Looks like
rebel
all the
right.
fighting's on the left now. Yep, all the fighting's on the rebel right and the center. Looks like now the Union are doing the same thing they did last time, and charging out in the open to the left. Wow, this is actually a really cool shot here.
It is.
Yeah, I like how like the right-click flags almost make line formations like what you expect to see on a map, like a Wikipedia map. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Look at this beautiful Union line here. Oh.
Yeah, although it doesn't really show charges too well.
Yeah,
They're
no.
yelling huzzah while they die in skirmishing, but look at these Confederates, very well holding information, but they're a little bit too close, I think, to be an effective melee force, you know? People say spear wall, but, I mean, you know, running into a bayonet doesn't actually damage you in game like it does in real life. I don't think spear walls are the most effective move here, but as you can see, that group right there got wiped out with very minimal kills in the Yankees. They allowed themselves to get surrounded by all sides. Meanwhile, the group on the point is still capturing point. It's hard to see the exact numbers of these people, but I have a small hunch that the Confederates outnumber these Yankees. So even if I don't know, actually, the Yankees just got some reinforcements coming in from the left. They're getting a very fast trickle in from their spawn down there at the bottom of that hill, which, if you don't know, right over here's the map at the beginning of the game. This is Garland's stand from the muster map, the house. Right over here's Reno's Fall. So
right now would
yeah.
be a perfect opportunity for the Union to charge, especially after they wiped out that rebel group and they got some reinforcements.
And as I tried to show there, the Union are now recapturing the point. However, if they have breaking, that's a very horrible thing for them.
It is.
I don't know why they really want to recap the point instead of charging those Confederates. I mean, maybe they're hoping to get out of this and taking losses.
I doubt, though. Because, I mean, yeah, even though it took forever for the Union to go down to engage at the beginning of the game, I mean, we still have over half the game to play if they recap.
Yeah.
Looks like Rebels are coming
yeah.
down that road and getting nice flanking shots.
And now this is the kind of flanking shots people should be worried about. It's where people get in your like a, I don't know what this is called, an oblique to your rear. Like they're not directly to your left, but they're a little bit to your behind. This means that they get a much easier time shooting you, you know, because like if you miss one, you'll definitely hit another person. So this man right here, Mr. Captain York of whatever BB stands for, Company D, he will definitely get a kill every shot he does, as long as he aims in the right, you know, up and down axis.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, yeah, Union's not even like pressed up on the stone wall. They're kind of just a blob, almost.
Yeah, but then again, it's very important to stay in formation. So as long as the Union are shoulder to shoulder, no matter how much flanking shots they get, they are not losing very many. These men are kneeling though. I saw a couple guys kneel, and if they die kneeling, it'll definitely be a very big loss. As you can see, Union hit breaking. That does not mean much though, because they're about to go up to taking losses, assuming the Confederates do not also drop. This man right here is kneeling and aiming at the wrong group though. I don't know why he'd want to shoot them. Hopefully, well, I say hopefully, you know, hopefully the Yankees are thinking definitely if they want to retreat, they're going to Confederates at breaking. It means the Union's about to hit breaking. Any death now. There we go. Breaking at 20 minutes.
Yeah, wow. Rebels can now easily just win this game. They got 20 minutes. I doubt, especially because the Union's just falling back into that corn.
Yeah, I mean, what do the Union have now? Like, they go back in the corn.
It looks like they're coming back now because they realized that they can't do much in the corn.
Well, not enough men are moving forward. It looks like these are all like, what 2 men of the 5th Florida and 2 men of the 7th. I don't know if this is the actual men getting ordered or if they just didn't hear the order from their superior officer to retreat. Looks like now a big blob up here. It looks like every single regiment has a man on this stone, or not the stone, this thing of logs. That man kneeling in front of the enemy. I don't know why I'd want to do that. And then he got shot, definitely in skirmishing there.
Our field reporter has some great views right now. As he's now pulling away, he just had a great shot, saw some deaths, and now he's pulling it back into the corn with the rest of his team.
Why are these people off the stone wall? Like, there's a group of 3 up there. Do they want to hit last stand right now? Oh, yeah. There's... I missed this. There's a 1st Maryland in a skirmishing formation in the woods. That is, I think, extremely unadvised. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, out of line is a very huge possibility here. Skirmishing is definitely going to happen. Yeah, Union's already in a terrible position, so I don't see why this would be necessary.
Yeah,
I could get it if the Union was on the stone wall, and you could have some guys here dealing with rebels coming through the woods, but Union's not on the stone wall.
Here's what I'm saying. There's, what, 20 Confederates over there? If at any point the Union had held this area right here, this corner, I think this corner right here is as effective as it was whenever whenever South Mountain came out, back when that was the meta. I mean, now they're just falling back, so they went up there, lost a bunch of skirmishing losses, and then fell back. However, I'm sure that they killed more Confederates, which definitely feels good for morale, but it is not good for tickets. Confederates now recapturing the point that is faster than okay. Let's see, where are the Confederates who are doing that? Where are they? I want to see them. Was it that guy? Nope. Dude, where do you think they might be? I don't know where they are.
The whole rebel team.
Oh,
Yeah,
these
they're
guys
in the
aren't. These
woods.
guys aren't cap. Nope. This rock formation's on cap, I guess.
That is crazy.
Yeah, those
Very
are the closest
interesting.
Confederates. I know for certain that is on a cap. I know for certain. So that means that these guys are probably on cap now.
Yeah, that's
I guess it was a little
very.
more. I thought it ended around there, but I guess it ends around there. That's only it's only 5 feet, 10 feet. Now Union advancing down. They're putting themselves right between the two Confederate groups here. A very smart maneuver, especially when you're low on tickets. That's irony.
But honestly,
That is not
well, what else could they do? I mean, they could charge through the woods here and try to clear them out, but then the rebels could just run up and camp point. I'm surprised that group
Well, think about. Oh, sorry.
hasn't run up and
Oh,
gotten on
they
the
are charging
rocks
now.
yet.
I think about it this way, right? If the point is oblong to that direction, it's equally as oblong to that direction. They can go about right there between those two rock formations and still be on point. And if it's easier to see on the ground, that the terrain definitely gives anybody holding down here on the bottom of the hill a good advantage, because you can just it's very smooth, and there's a bit of a bump right there, so you can like a little bit of a deflate effect with this acting like the side of the hill is a bit of a hill itself.
Yeah,
An
for
interesting
sure.
effect there.
We have a
The Union
charge
charge
going
seems to have
on
petered out
right
and
now.
lost.
Our field reporter's in
Union
the
charge
midst of
lost.
that. He unfortunately just got stabbed and killed. But it is an
20th commander
intense
went down
melee.
fighting.
If Union loses this fight, rebels just cap the point and win.
Yep, certainly. Wow. No, they're going for the log pile instead. That is, you know, I love hearing. Oh, now the 5th Florida Union, acting as a Union, is now charging into the rear of the Confederate charge. So again, just to recap, the Confederates charged the. I'm sorry, the Union charged the Confederates in the woods. The Confederates countercharged, and now the 5th Florida are countercharging the counterchargers in the rear.
I wonder why they would wait and not charge the first group. Because now,
Mhm.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. You got to charge as one big group, not these scattered groups.
Yeah, I mean, especially because they're not in counterattack right now. God, that guy just out of line. Oh, that hurts to see. These guys, they're holding on the logs. This guy's about to die out of line. Oh,
Let's see if
maybe I
that
don't
rebel
him.
gets him. Oh,
Ooh.
he got shot,
Well, it
but
looks
another
like
rebel came up and killed him. That
This
rebel just
Union
died.
officer, Mr. Zapstar over here, he was a very beautiful voice. Has killed a couple guys. Can you hear him? Does it pick up on the Discord?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So now it looks like they are now holding defensively on this thing. There are 15 minutes left. And now the Confederates are capturing the point again very fastly. Now, like you said, they took this rock formation, which I think they should have done at the same time as the Confederate charge over there to spread out the Yankees even more, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Also,
God, that's
possibly just end the
beautiful.
round sooner. I mean, there's no way
See that?
Union's going to be able to kick the guys off of the point. What's over there?
Oh, just look at this. Like, zoomed out, it's a grass field. Oop, wheat.
Zoomed
corn.
in, it's wheat.
Yeah. Man, God, this game's. Look at that. If I was on high, man, but then I would only get 2 frames. I'm content with the amount of frames I get now. But look at this. Union are advancing again on the left, just in between the Confederate groups over and over and over.
Yeah, I
Wow.
don't blame them.
Well,
The whole
definitely.
rebels should be
I'll tell you what.
charging
They're
in.
having no lack of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, certainly. They're having no lack of fun here. Union now last stand with 15 minutes left in the game. However, they are slowly reversing the capture point timer.
But they're
So
on
if they
last stand.
push the if they push the Confederates into final push, they have a small chance. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. Royal, can you hear us now?
Nah, he said he couldn't talk till the end of the round, which that just happened,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately. But
Ooh, rip. Yeah, that you know, the Union are recapturing the point right now. Again, remember that they are the defenders, so it doesn't mean anything if they recapture the full. So right now they're just holding out in this this little salient, surrounded on 3 sides by Confederates. And I'll tell you what, I can be sure that this is a very War of Rights game. I'm sure they're having fun down there, but I do not know if their strategies were sound from the beginning. You know.
yeah,
I think
no.
they
I mean, I don't know what else really, except maybe run up and hold the fence in the stone wall like you were showing earlier at the rebel side. Possibly a chance to win. We're going to get a quick view from our field line reporter. He is still alive despite being flanked from 3 angles, which is crazy.
They're playing sad music over their mics.
I don't blame him. It's quite unfortunate what's happened to the Union this round.
No, you're good. Oh, thank God.
Union are now losing the point.
And
However,
speaking
Confederates
of
have hit
which-
last final push, but that doesn't really mean much for them now, does it? If you don't know, final push gives the Confederates just enough time to run from their main spawn to the point twice, like sprint. So, Yeah. You know, you probably could work that out to get the exact distance. You know, because you sprint at 5 yards a second. That sounds really fast, but I remember I did the math and it was yeah. That's really fast. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, honestly, there's maybe a chance Union can win. They just don't have to die, hold the spot that they're holding, and
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
win.
they've already lost the game, though, so I'll charge. Like those guys.
The Rebels should be charging in right now, because they're not going to
I
cap
don't
that
know.
point from
They've
the
already
middle.
won.
You think
Now
so?
look, because they'll have overtime. As long as they outnumber the Yankees on point, they can't lose.
Oh, that is true, and Union's going to lose a lot of guys in these next 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, the Confederates. Again, knock on wood for the Yankees' sake, but I'm not going to be putting any stock in them right now. Even though they have definitely in all fronts in melee and in shooting played very well, their positioning just was subpar to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. It was very
And how
hard
they
for
placed
Union to do
themselves.
anything.
Do you see how suppressed I got from that? That was weird.
Yeah.
However, it does
Honestly,
look
I
like
have
the Confederates
there's
no longer surround them. Oh, do you see that?
what was that?
Look at that.
Oh my goodness, Rebels just trickling in from their spawn. Jeez, Mobies. Honestly, there is a
Oh.
way. There is a way the Union can win this. War of Rights
that was that.
moderators demand respect, and if the Rebel players
Ooh.
do not give that respect, the War of Rights
Yeah,
moderator
Mr.
could just
Murphy
start
over here.
banning.
Yeah, you didn't say anything there. Ooh, and now we can see that they're finally in a melee with a minute 50 left in the game. The best chance the Union have here is the Confederates to leave point, and then they get one man on point in the last second, and then they win. You know.
Yeah.
But looking at this stationary view here, he's yelling at the north. He's yelling to go this direction, that direction. But I don't think any orders you give your men will really have the opportunity to be received. There's Confederates in the midst of everybody, and they lost by losing all the men.
That is, dang, that's an unfortunate. That was just an unfortunate round for the Union. Nothing really, I would say, went right for the Union.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that with complete certainty that they would do a lot better if they hold forward, but I do know with complete certainty that the moment you put yourself in that corn, you give the entire map to the Confederates. You give all the initiative to the Confederates. There's nothing that you can't choose where the engagements happen. You can't choose anything, you know. So the very limited amount of choice that the Union has in the matter, they lost. And even here, look at that. The Union actually had more losses, even while they were defending traditionally.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it
It
looked to
evened
me
out a
that
little
they
bit more
weren't
later.
taking a lot, but clearly they were.
I mean, I guess the buck and ball, they weren't really shooting from that far away. I mean, most of these engagements from like here to here is only like 40, 50 yards. Not even in most places, like 20. Yeah, the Union took a noticeable amount more losses.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
well over 1,000 casualties on that map. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, what did it look like from the Union perspective, Roy?
From the Union perspective, we were holding that corn. I didn't die while I was shooting on that corn fence. However, when we got into that melee on the stone wall, that's where all the big casualties happen. You got a lot of because you have that enflating fire coming from down from Confederate spawn. You have the Confederates on the rocks on point. You have the Confederates in the woods behind us. You just get that giant kill box where the Union just has nowhere to go, and they have to be there because they have to defend point, and you end up with so many casualties.
Yeah. I do believe that the people in general like that is generally the strategy nowadays is to hold that corn, and from what I've been able to tell, since that strategy has been a thing, the Union have not been winning that map as frequently as they used to be. So, what I was trying to say earlier was, here I'll spawn in real quick. I'm not spawning in at Eagle if you're still on the other screen.
No, I'm on
Uh,
a. We have a halftime screen right now, which just shows who won each map. And
okay,
so,
exactly 10 seconds more before I'm in.
yep,
FYI.
I got you.
What I was trying to say was that it's called Reno's Fall because he actually died at that location, like General Reno. And like I was saying, when it was hard to see who's who, he died at the hands of friendly fire.
All right, and here we go. We got our spectator screen back. Let me fix the current board. I forgot to do that in between the rounds. My apologies, and let's get going into this new round.
Okay. So as we can see, there's 43 minutes and 17 seconds going, so it's very early on in the game. Can't press my T really quick. There we go. Now it shows up. The Confederates over here spawn on the point. You can see why I called it the fishbowl earlier. That the map really does form a fishbowl. And the worst part about it is that that force right there, it doesn't look very high, but compared to the point, it is high. So this point is surrounded almost everywhere. However, there's a slight amount of reconciliation. Well, I remember when this was a full stone wall instead of a small stone pile. That was really good. You are able to capture the point from up here on this small section. So that means that the Confederates are able to keep it capped up a little bit. And yeah, so let's see what the Union are doing. Like I was trying to say earlier, yeah, they're going left. The Union left into the woods, looks like, which is definitely the majority strategy. And what I would say, unlike Reno's, where the majority strategy is a subpar strategy, I would say this is a pretty sound one.
Yeah, we see our field reporter Royal Ace's screen right now. It just looks so beautiful, this map running down that hill. It is
Mhm.
very beautiful. Royal,
I have my
yeah, how is the Union feeling after that first round?
we've been bruised, we've been beaten, but I don't think our spirits are quite broken just yet. I love keeping my graphics on max just for the beauty that this game can provide. You can see here moving down into the fishbowl as Sevi described with the Union team. We're going to post up here in the woods on the left side, hopefully try and direct some Confederates away from main point towards us in the woods. And I think we might have perhaps one group moving to the right as well. I don't know if we have any artillery right now.
It doesn't look like it on mine. It looks like everyone's going left. It does look like they also have one artillerist. I'll go quickly give him a shout out. The artillerist crew right here is the 7th Massachusetts BB.
All right.
Those are the artillerists. As you can see here, the Confederates. I don't see this very often, but you know what? This is a good. This strategy could turn out to be well. Looks like the 4th Texas Infantry part of the Walker's Division 1st Corps was holding point, and now they're retreating up the hill. Usually they retreat a lot faster than that. While the Union are moving down here in the bottom of this fishbowl, down to this fence. Generally, the strategy is to get up in that woods, force the Confederates into hand-to-hand combat, and then drive them down to breaking and win. Just like how last game, the really, I mean, what killed the Union wasn't their anything but their tickets, you know. Usually, just like on Reno's, the defenders leave this point wide open. Looks like, however, the Walker's division is not willing to do that. They're keeping their men on the point. That could be very vulnerable to Union artillery, but who knows? Maybe they're not scared of the 7th Massachusetts BB.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if they thought Union didn't have they didn't see that Union had artillery last round, so they might be like, hey, they don't have it this round either. But that's not the case. Looks like we got a
Here-
charge coming in already. We're switching to our frontline reporter's view, who's in the midst
Here we go,
of it.
boys. I'm here with the 5th North Carolina and the 1st Maryland. We are charging the Confederates in the woods right now. Gonna try and get off a few stabs here. I don't think I'll survive for much longer.
Confederates not holding up and regrouping behind a rock. However, they are now retreating again.
Which is surprisingly, it just allows the Union to just fire into the back if they have shots. I mean, CSA is going to lose tickets regardless, and they might even lose
We're
more.
not chasing the CSA up the hill.
There's not very many Confederates retreating. However, they do have both their flags. Looks like some of the groups are now holding. That's enough, they say. That's enough, they say. The Confederates immediately hear that's enough, and they stop. They're turning around, forming a skirmish line, and starting to get some spawns in. Confederates retreating again, while this rear guard, looks like that was actually an accidental rear guard, is now retreating back to these rocks. The Union man took it upon himself to advance. Mr. Beaver. My God. Oh, he got shot. Okay.
They both
Hey, out of
ended
line
up
for out of line,
dying.
that helps the attackers. Again, because the Union have more tickets to deal with now. Unlike last map, the Union have more tickets. So,
for
as we can
sure.
see here, the Confederate artillery is usually what this map is known for. At the top of the fishbowl, and with excellent view of everything, the 6th Georgia, Company H, the ABBB, Company D, and anything else. Looks like that's about it. They are now at the top of this hill, ready to shoot any Yankees that go down to that point. Doesn't really give you justice of just how much they can do. Looks like the Confederates over here on this point are not doing anything. Again, I cannot focus how much, I cannot emphasize just how much it is against the Union strategy to have Confederates here. Generally speaking, right now, they would have full control of the point, just like the Confederates had full control of the point last round. That's generally the strategy of pushing up the woods.
Yeah, for sure. If the Confederates that are skirmishing, I guess the few Confederates that are skirmishing the whole Union team over there, if they just keep the Union team at bay, they could just waste that clock out.
Yeah, completely. Just like last round, where the only like for the first 15 minutes they didn't cap. Did you die?
Yeah,
I've been taken out.
F.
Could see that on the bottom left there, our wonderful field reporter screen.
Goes black. So we can see here this is a very standard engagement. It's hard to see through the woods, so let's just get a zoomed in view. So let's see what these 5th Florida troops down here can see. what he can see, he says keep shooting. They can't see very much down here. They're shooting up a hill, and really all they can see is muzzle flashes and silhouettes. And even then, the muzzle flash and the silhouettes they see are not very clear.
Well, yeah.
Generally speaking, when you're down here, you're just shooting at muzzle flashes. However, they have a Confederate right there who's perfectly silhouetted, reloading. As you can hear a commander in the background saying, if you can see him, boys, shoot him. Meanwhile, two guys, apparently they just got saw and they just got shot. The Confederates are losing suitable numbers up here because they are very clumped up.
Yeah, that
I would recommend
flag
spreading out a
needs
little
to.
more.
The flags need to get behind something because you can definitely see the flags. At least if you're the
Or
Union.
even better, just go off to the left or right by a couple of yards. Still information, but just enough to not be anything. You know, because if they were saying right here, all the people down there would be shooting at the flag bearer hitting this tree. But instead, these Confederates are sitting right in the middle of their line, giving the Yankees an excellent view of where to shoot.
For sure, yeah.
Let's see how these Confederates over here are doing. Oh, looks like the Union artillery, after around 8 minutes, finally was able to clock in on point. And we can see the carnage here. Although I'm on body settings low, it looks like all the other bodies disappeared. This body is, well, he's not having a good time. Oh, well, he's still alive. He's fine.
Has some movement there.
He's fine. He'll get up. I'm sure we won't see his body if I look back. Oh, he's still there. Okay. I mean, maybe he's not fine. Union artillery up there. They can definitely see this point. Meanwhile, which group was this? The Walker's Division, 4th Texas, has retreated up to these rocks.
Southwest.
They're having a fire will order to the southwest, where you can see the Yankees have advanced.
For sure.
Or not really advanced, more so advanced in a different position.
Yeah.
I don't know why they yelled southwest. They can only really see that flag bearer.
I see a couple rebels at the house of the church on the corner there. Who is over there behind you?
Oh, you mean the White House? This is very
Yeah,
much a
sorry.
house. This group here is the 10th Georgia, the 20th Maine, part of the AP, and that's one company contact. Looks like they are hitting some of these guys. I think these guys are some respawns. Maybe they're just maneuvers. They are the 6th North Carolina and the 4th North Carolina. I'm sorry, 6th and 9th, and they are now advancing up here towards the Union cannons. Wow, they're losing a lot of men here. Well, it isn't that far away, I guess. Yeah. They lost a lot of men to those those independent shots. And I don't know really why. Looks like they just wanted to go up here. Remember, they don't have a flag, so their respawns, they're going to spawn down there on whoever has their flag, or over there back at main spawn. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Is this an
It
artillerist?
looks like the Union's pushing up on our field reporter's view. We're going to switch over to him quickly. How's it going for the Union, Royal? Did you guys just charge up the hill there?
Yes, so right now me and the 5th Florida up here, we are pressing up on the Union left. The Confederates, right down that road is their spawn, and they are contesting us heavily for it. We have the cover of this fallen tree right here, and we're just firing back right now. You can see a few people pushing up. I don't think that's very wise with the lack of cover. There's only 1 or 2 thin
Yeah,
trees
certainly.
up here.
If they're going to advance, they should go to a flank, not directly up.
I think I just got one right there.
Beautiful shot. All right, we're
We
going to
can
cut back
see
to our
that-
video. Thank you, Royal.
Yeah, we can see from here that they are not very well. Again, you can't see their legs, but that's not a big issue. You can see their chests. The Confederates are not choosing to spread out. In fact, they have men standing behind their line. That means that if a man shoots for this guy, misses, he can still hit this guy. It's very not a good idea to be shoulder to shoulder, this exactly pressed up.
I
You
was
can
going to
be
say...
relatively spread out.
Yeah, I was going to say that, the flag's not being in the center of line, but as I was thinking that, they shift right to the middle of that small rebel line there. Should make it easier for the
Yes.
Union to shoot.
It definitely is more historical, but it is not what you should be expecting in a skirmish battle. I guess some other groups just don't care about that as much. We can see an artillery hit. I think that might have been a shrapnel kill right there. I really wasn't watching the exact man. But artillery hits definitely causing or suppression damage. Suppression being sometimes as important as kills. These 20th Maine now engaging down here, down the hill at the 5th North Carolina, shooting back up at them. And again, remember in all these engagements that although we up here respecting them, we can see all these guys. The viewers at home have to remember that although you can see the full bodies of these guys, the men on the ground can barely see shoulders and heads. People are generally good at keeping cover in this game. So you can see now there's a charge. The IVB and the 20th New York seem to be charging the AP 20th Maine. They're yelling break reloads, and it looks like they're bracing. It doesn't look like it was very full fodder charge. Maybe it was just to try to bait them. It doesn't look like the Union put their best, but they're full forward there. It looks like there was more of a toe in the water to see how the Confederates would appeal.
Yeah, interesting approach there.
Oh, admin just made it nighttime. Oh, now they made it better. Okay. I nuke go off. I don't really I wouldn't recommend I don't know. I think it's a bit of a jerk move to change the time in a game unless it was pre-planned. Just because the time of the day is definitely part of the match, part of what makes it that map.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Union would have a much better time sneaking through the woods if it was dark for longer. They could completely move where they're at.
And
Rebels
as you
might
say
not be able
that,
to.
the admins are all Confederates, so maybe that's what they're thinking was.
Maybe try. Maybe they're like, hey, we don't like the Union in this spot. Maybe they'll move if we turn it dark to be sneaky. But actually, this is good for us.
Oh, that makes
Yeah, well, I it's kind of hard to see that slider, so I think it was just an accident that they made it nighttime there for a half second. It's
Probably.
more likely that they were trying to make it daytime, but then just misclicked. Which again, this map is, let me see. If you don't know, if you press F2, it actually shows you the thing. So yeah, it just started at 7 o'clock p.m. Or 1900. So part of the historical context of this map, the fight at Turner's Gap, is that it did happen nearing the end of the day. If you don't know the historical context, the whole battle of South Mountain happened before the Antietam. And Turner's Gap was one of the important points where the Union Army Brigade was able to push through the Confederate lines. Yeah, John Gibbon, yeah, yada yada. So yeah, Iron Brigade, they went down this road in real life and just kind of kept on going, went over the other ridges.
Thank you for
So
that
it is a
historical
very
context.
yeah. I'm sorry. That's
No,
something that
no,
messed me up.
dude, that's great. I love to hear it. I personally don't know much about these type of battles, or at least South Mountain. So
Mhm.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, one of the oh, there we go. Now Union finally charging off these guys. Well, I say Confederate sitting engaged at 31 minutes and a half. This is a much more conventional game that we would expect in the last round. Last round, there's very little, conventionality out there. Oh goddamn! Who's this guy? Mr. Luck does not seem very lucky. Well, yeah, maybe he is lucky. He's the last guy to survive.
Yeah, possibly those rebels pushing
He's
back up to
shoeless.
that rock to shoot the Union guys who are kind of just in a blob in the open right now.
They're coming.
Now he retreats to the 4th Texas, who, if you remember, were down there, but now they're now firing out well into those Yankees, hitting some men. Looks like the majority, though, are still fine. The Union definitely won that charge, no matter how much they get shot from it. That's all the enemy down there is being told. Looks like the 4th Texas might not have been in knowledge that these guys are all enemies before that guy told them. I don't know. I guess it's just how it happens sometimes. It do be do. They're now hitting their flag, which again shows you how bad the flag is a magnet. You aren't going to see these guys on the left getting hit as long as the flag bearer is more than 10 yards away from them.
Yeah, for sure.
People
For
just like
sure.
shooting at flags. These guys are doing a much better job than the Confederates at staying one-man space. Definitely the entire Union is a little bit better reserved on their compared to the last map. They're better reserved on their spacing, and they're making sure they don't lose tickets. Who's this guy? Oh, Rogel. Yeah, Roy, I'll find your cousin, Mr. Rogel.
Oh wow.
Brother from
I
another
can't
mother.
make yeah,
Chose the
brother
wrong
from
side, unfortunately. I mean, maybe the wrong side. I don't know your opinion. We do not judge
Hey,
here. We are a unbiased news source here.
I think I might have told you the story, but I actually really cool history teacher I had for A push and that he had AP European, so I took it too. Um, he he had a he didn't know this until he actually looked it up on like websites and stuff, but he had great etc grandparents. His direct grandparents moved to Illinois, so the whole family's from Kentucky, right? One of them moved to Illinois, one of them stayed in Kentucky and fought for the Union, and the last brother, stayed in Kentucky and fought for the South.
Oh, that is interesting. What is
And
the?
one day, oh, sorry,
Did they ever meet in battle or?
he wasn't able to prove that, but the brother that fought for the South sadly did get captured, and funnily enough, got sent to a Union prisoner of war camp not very far from where we live.
Oh, that's
But however, he did die in that prisoner of war camp. And because the local people, I know I might be doxing myself a bit much here, but who cares? The local people in this area felt bad about I think it was like the Women's Society, felt bad about how many prisoners had died in the camp. So they did erect a statue with all the names of people in the local cemetery, to just kind of like remember that yeah, war sucks.
yeah, for sure. I would agree there. War does suck. Anyway, it looks like the rebels are pushing to the right from their spawn in the forest.
Hmm.
Yeah, rebels just kind of spread out right now. I don't know what they're doing. Union did hit engage though.
But they are a good 3-4 minutes ahead, which is what I expect to expect. What I don't understand is why the Union doesn't have a man-on point over capping. This is another very oblong point you can capture from a very, very long area, but not over the stone wall. in most areas. Most areas, the stone wall is the boundary of the capture point. Again, back in the day, this stone wall was a full stone wall going all the way up to your chest, and that, man, that was it made this map a little bit easier for the Confederates, to say the least.
Yeah, I could definitely
Union now
imagine that.
looks like they are capping, actually. Maybe I got the bite of my tongue there.
Yeah,
Looks
there's
like they have
that
a
guy
couple
there.
men. Yes, yes. Maybe okay. If they kneel right here, yes, exactly. They kneel. This is 7th Massachusetts. They have been a couple men of the 7th and one man of the 7th, one man of the 5th have been ordered. Seems to go over here and hold on point, starting to drive down that timer. Again, they might not try to be capping here, but they might be trying to ready that the slider up there, the red, trying to make it a little more blue for when the Yankees do want to cap.
Yeah, for sure.
In this kind of situation where the Confederates are this far pulled back, it definitely Confederates are not pulled back. They are advancing. Definitely, their
Interesting
main goal should be
decision.
to kill these guys. Yeah, if I were Confederates, I'd be retreating right now. I'd just be holding fire, you know. I guess engage 27 isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, that's not a terrible spot. I mean, possibly if I were the rebels, maybe pull up near their artillery. Maybe if the Union don't want to cap, it'll force them to come up and get into the range of the artillery because
Oh, they just
CSA
killed the
already.
Canadian.
CSA
Did you hear
artillery.
that?
I did see that. The poor guy by the tree. Yeah, the CSA already hasn't really. I haven't seen them too much in action this whole time, just because of where the Union are. I mean, you can't really hit good shots into the woods.
From what we can see here from a Confederate's perspective, this is about what the Confederates can see. They can see down into the Union very well. But if you see this road right in front of you, let's go look at the Union perspective. That road should create an interesting perspective. We're down here at the Union's point of view. Let's see, a good Union average point of view. They can only really see the waist up of the Confederates. Again, it's not perfect, but that does give them more benefit than just the fence. Especially if you're kneeling or if you're standing, I guess you can see a little more. Heels fall back, and the Union are falling back. They're running down the hill, says Mr. Reagan. And the Confederates taking the opportunity and upping and overing. The 1st Corps AB is advancing. Meanwhile, the 1st Corps AB is also holding. I guess is the 1st Corps AB is. I forgot that they're like 50 men.
Yeah, I
so
wonder
they're
why the
split up into
Union
much more
fell back
subdivisions.
there. Maybe little like spread out. They want to reform. Looks like they got a bunch of guys reforming where you're just looking at.
Yeah, it looks like they have 2 main groups here, one there and one there. Looks like the majority down there. If I, again, I guess it is our job to back to general, isn't it? It would be to have more men over here focusing capturing the point. At a certain point, just the threat of capturing the point early might drag the Confederates into attacking sooner than later. However, where the Confederates are right now is very good for the Union, so I can see why they might just be content to stay where they are.
Yeah, drop them down. Slowly cap the point. Drop them down to breaking, and then win the game.
Yes, certainly in this composition, it could be going up to anyone, but I'm sure the Yankees are happy of where the Confederates are right now. Unlike the last map, though, the Confederates, even when they're pushed back, have many opportunities to maneuver. They can go all the way over this hill, over where the Yankees can't. Remember, those cannons are a little bit out of bounds of the Union, and get all the way around here and try to flank on the top of this hill here. And again, I hate to keep knocking on it, but these hills over here, they don't look like much from the sky, but they, man, you can imagine if the Union lands over there by that tree, you can only see their head, no, just boom, and you just just awesome.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree with that. It's so different playing this game compared to just spectating it. If you ever do get the experience, purchase this game, even if you refund it after the 2 hours. It's a once in a lifetime experience. No other game like it.
And although as much as I prefer the Antietam map cycle over the other ones, if you didn't know, there's 3 map cycles. Antietam, right now we're in South Mountain, it's Harper's Ferry, or aka the city one. The Harper's Ferry and the South Mountain one are just beautiful. Like there is just they modeled that. That's a hill over there they modeled. You know?
Yeah.
Like that. Like you can go around this hill.
The best part too,
What?
some of the Harper's Ferry maps, like Maryland Heights. I actually, when I went down to Harper's Ferry, was able to hike up to the top of Maryland Heights. It looked just as beautiful as it does in the game. It's an unreal experience. The hike, a little hard, but a beautiful experience. And actually, I want to switch to our field reporter here. How's it going for him? It looks like he is by the White House that we were showing earlier, in between the house and the Union Artillery. How's it going for you?
So right now I'm up here with just a little bit band of sharpshooters, 4th North Carolina, part of the 7th Massachusetts Battery. Just taking some pot shots up here. I think pretty soon I'm going to move down back into the thick of the fighting. Just want to see up here what I could do up here. And right now I'm holding the Lorenz, and the Lorenz has pretty similar ballistics to the Springfields and the Infield, I believe. I don't think there's much difference.
Close
I don't
enough, yeah.
feel I don't feel much difference. The only real difference I can see is the sight picture. Lorenz has they all have different sights. Historically, these guns were prized a little bit more than the Springfields because they were Austrian imports.
If you can hit the guy on the right on the fence to your right, I'll give you $1,000,000. To the right of the house, there's a guy on the fence.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Union have now hit taking losses. I'm sorry, Confederates now hit taking losses. I just a little bit undershort. Confederates now hit taking losses at 23 minutes. That's about exactly what the Union wants now. Sorry
Yeah, for
interrupting.
sure. Plenty of time to knock them down to breaking and still win this game. As we saw during, yeah, it was the same. This is turning out kind of like the last round, except the Union are just waiting for the Confederates to hit breaking instead of capping early.
Certainly, this is the alternative perspective to capping early, and that is when the defenders, instead of retreating, they just hold out in the open and they just keep shooting. It gives the attackers so much more to just keep shooting. Oh, I think we missed a charge. All these guys coming up from spawn, I think we definitely missed a charge. That is unfortunate. Y'all, look at all this blood. Yeah, we missed a charge. Gosh,
Oh yeah,
darn
for
it.
sure. That's probably why the rebels went down to taking losses.
Mhm.
I would guess the rebels
from-
are now gonna hold up by their artillery, not be as aggressive as they have been. Aggressive.
It looks
meaning-
like both of us would be wrong, and they're
they are pushing
just gonna go up
forward,
here.
defying
Right?
expectations.
Oh, and they're being flanked. They're being like the worst kind of flanked.
They need
they're
to
be
either
allowing
go on
their-
that straight fence. They cannot be standing unless they're volleying and running.
Oh, now they're going back in the fence. Oh, there they go. Okay.
Jesus Christ, they're right on top of us.
Yo, this Mr. Centurion, I think I've heard him 5 or 6 times this game yell they're right on top of us.
I do believe we just rendered
Mow the
ourselves
grass.
Okay.
He's
So
not
yeah,
wrong though. Union is basically right in front of them, dealing damage.
if anybody can't tell, the difference between this game and the last game is that in the last game, the defenders, who were then the Union, they were much more reserved than the Confederates. And the counterattacks, although it is 20 minutes now, it's not equal to the other time because the counterattacks added on like an extra 7-8 minutes on top of that. So if you think about it that way, in terms of the counterattack logging out the time, the Confederates in this round have taken losses in 8 minutes less, give or take. I don't know the exact number. 8 minutes less than the Union. So that's interesting to think about, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting that those rebels are moving off the rocks there. And,
Yes,
we were just
I
looking
think
at.
that they're
I wonder
trying
where
to.
they're going.
I think they're gonna go try to kill our friend Royal's friends. Or
Royal
maybe they're
is
trying
no
to take the
longer
Sounds.
over there. He is
Maybe they're trying to kill these out-of-liners.
possibly, but
Yes. So if you want the context, over there's the artillery. There's where Royal was up here. Again, from up there you can get some good shots in there, but with the inaccuracy of these rifles, it's very hard to hit accurate shots at singular people. It's much easier to shoot at lines. Not to say it's easy at all, but it is definitely more manageable. Now the Confederates have moved themselves into perfect burst shot. Perfect burst shot. That killed a couple guys there. Look at that.
and now it looks like they'll be falling
wow.
back for that reason.
Yeah, that was like good. That was really well done on their part.
Yeah. How are the rebels holding on their right? The rebel right, are they still holding up on that fence?
Yeah, it looks like just on the fence. Yeah, they haven't moved. It looks like they're just content to take a lot of information losses, which isn't the worst thing ever. I just don't know why people are going up the hill a little bit. I don't understand that. Oh, it's so they can see better over this lump. The lump now is to their disadvantage. Of course, it is important to remember that when you sprint and then stop, it messes up your gun sway a little bit. So you have a much less accurate sight picture. And a lot of the men here, I know that they are very accurate, I know they're very well trained people, but a lot of them, the main focus of their mind there is just to get the shot off when the man says fire, and the rest of it is just it's secondary, you know.
For sure.
We can see now that there are still the Confederates have moved back to this position. So they went up there, got hit by artillery, and then fell back. A unit now taking losses around 4 minutes after the Confederates. They've kept a constant pace above the Confederates. At this rate, the Confederates will be hit breaking at around 12 minutes, give or take, which is more than enough time for the Union to maneuver themselves back into point. However, if I were a Confederate, I'd still be holding the hope. What do you think, Eagle?
Say that last part one more time. I was thinking thought.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, what I was trying to say was, if I was a Confederate, I'd still be holding that hope. Do you think they still have a chance?
Possibly. I mean, Union. If I were the rebels, I would be much more confident if I pulled back right now, because Union's closer to point, as of right now, and I'm assuming Union's going to send 1 or 2 guys to start capping that point right now and make it close so that when the Rebels do hit breaking, they just win the game easily. I would be more
Certainly.
confident on the Rebels if I pulled back right now than kept engaging them, because clearly Union is still knocking you down even though it's taking you time.
You have a good point there. If the Confederates have a great opportunity over this hill to retreat far back where the Yankees can't even not see him, but can't even hit him in this beautiful manner. Which again, just like a lot
I've
of the
never seen that
this
before.
you've never. Oh my gosh, we had a
That looks
party over here in this one.
beautiful.
Oh, dude, it's great. Can I still open doors as a spectator? Okay, I guess I
I-
can't. Oh, okay, whatever. There's stuff in there, dude. This area is awesome. We held back here once when we were playing Confederate. Yeah, you can go all the way back there and then force the Union to capture early. Instead, the Confederates are. I hate to say it, but by advancing here, they're doing nothing but drawing their own tickets down. I can see no reason to advance. They're allowing look at this Union charge here. This was given to them on a silver platter.
Yeah,
So let's
for
see
sure.
who this is. The 5th NC and the looks like just the 5th NC is taking this excellent opportunity to charge in there, and the 1st Maryland. I'm sorry, the 1st Maryland and the IVB. So it looks like some groups are everywhere, and the Confederates are allowing their tickets to be dropped down by the Union. I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah,
Their
interesting.
strategy here, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. The thing we're talking about in counterattack, where the rebels become attacking, they could easily cause this to happen right now by just sitting back, forcing the Union to cap point, and then being aggressive as they can be.
and
But
unlike last map, the Confederates, the defenders would have a great opportunity to recapture the point from that hill up there. They can kill anybody on this point and force the Union down to last stand from anywhere. So I just don't see it working out in the Confederates' favor here, especially with the strategy of just continuing to put pressure on it. They can't apply 16 minutes of pressure.
yeah,
We can see
yeah,
Royalists here advancing
I-
towards this
I
house.
would agree. I mean, as we saw in the rebels have probably been more aggressive this round than they were last round. Just-
Yeah, funnily enough, that is almost certainly true. Who's this guy up here? Mr. Butthead?
A bunch of us
Um,
are trying to get off point right now because if we do cap point, it will put us at a disadvantage. So you guys see a bunch of us rushing away up here to the north side.
Yeah, completely right now. The Union control points, so they get to choose when they want to cap, and it is completely true that they want to cap when when the Confederates, that is, are in breaking. The Confederates, in my opinion, should be doing all they can to force themselves back there, back at spawn, in order that they can't hit breaking. I mean, any second now they're gonna hit breaking, the Union will just like charge point and cap. I don't know what the Confederates are doing here.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Maybe they think they can hold for 15 or so minutes, but I don't see it.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking that both these games, the defenders, like the first game, the Yankees just did not play well, but now they're doing everything right as attackers. I'm thinking that the defenders are just putting themselves in a mindset of, well, this map isn't in our favor anyway, so if we lose, it won't be that bad.
Yeah, especially because the rebels won the first one. They're like, oh, we won one, possibly. But
Mhm,
I
mhm.
sure they want to win this, but it just seems like they're they're not gonna win with this strategy. Looks like
Yeah,
some rebels
I
are
mean,
pulling up to the
usually,
top of the hill, in the middle there.
yeah, that is interesting. That's interesting. You see,
It's-
the Union can only touch this fence for a small stretch here. Around here is the out of bounds limit for the Yankees. They cannot go that direction. Meanwhile, the Confederates have much more room up this hill. I don't exactly know why, but for some reason the Union out of bounds ends a lot sooner. Ooh,
The
they're about to
IVB,
get shot.
the IVB and the 5th Florida are now making this big, wide, bold gesture up here on the right side. We're getting countered by a bunch of Confederates. We're gonna have
Because the
fight.
First Corps Walker's Division, what was that company? Is that?
Oh,
that already shot almost just
Fort
killed our field
Texas.
reporter. I don't know how it didn't, but he keeps chugging.
I was almost
The Union-
vaporized.
The Union now hold this without a. Oh, now they have a flag bearer up here. They have a good chance. Union now charging out these Confederates. I was thinking the Confederates had an advantage, but they just allow themselves to get flanked over and over and over. It looks like they just want to lose tickets. If you don't know, in every charge, right, there at a certain point there will be less than 6 people. At that point, each man is in skirmishing, and if they're a little bit further than that skirmishing group, then they're out of line. That is where the 2-ticket loss of a melee comes in.
And I've been
Yeah.
team killed by 69th North Carolina Company A, Corporal Halo.
Whoa, you don't
Quite
gotta
an
dox the guy.
unfortunate predicament, but TKing is a norm of this game. Massive charging now happening, it looks like, on all fronts. Trying to knock the
Looks like-
rebels down to breaking, I think.
Isn't it interesting that all the fighting happened down there at the bottom of the hill for shooting, but now that they want to melee, they're all going up here.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I guess it all started with the Confederate flanking maneuver around there. Confederates now hit breaking, and they're a mile and a half away from point. Union over there are definitely right now crapping their shit. No, they're not. What are these guys doing? Why are they going away from point? I guess Mr. Dorsey over here doesn't. He doesn't want to win the
Countercharge,
point. I guess
counterattack, delaying action.
what are they doing? What?
Looks
What?
like we
Just
got
go
one guy
point.
here. They cap the
Yeah,
point,
who's
they
this
win
guy?
the game.
Who's this guy? Mr. Chief over here is the smartest man ever. And let's see who has another second. Oh, this guy was a little bit here faster. Mr. That guy, I couldn't actually catch his name. The Confederates are now charging down. If these rock guys, the Confederates are going to get on point now. I think it's a bit late though. But if those
Yeah, it's
rock
too
guys
late.
got on the point, yeah.
Wow, that was crazy.
I
I
don't
think
know.
the
The
Union,
Confederates might outnumber them here.
the Union
the
might have
Confederates
thought that
might
the
get it
rebels were
back.
pulling back, and so they might have been like, "Well, we better kill as many of them now. See if we can knock them down to breaking before they go away in hiding."
Confederates now out. Nope, they don't. Okay, yeah, no Union. I don't want to call it and then be wrong. Yeah, no Confederates now do. I don't know.
I don't think
Looks
they
like
do.
it's even.
I don't
It's
think
even.
they do.
Confederates got it. Confederates outnumber them for a couple seconds. Confederates circling in a lot more people.
And
The
Confederates
Union,
are winning.
those 5 men, by not going to the point, might have just costed a lot for this Union. The game is not going to last another 5 or 6 minutes. The Union are not holding on point. They're holding away from point. This isn't point.
There's 11 people currently on the spawn flag for the second Wisconsin.
They're not on point.
They're
Over
not on
there's
point. Rebels are trickling in. Their whole team now. This is a prime
The
opportunity.
Union just weren't on point, and they just got wiped. Okay, no mind, those rock guys, they were fine. This entire regiment here wasn't on point. If they were just over the Stonewall, they would have won the game. Wow.
Yeah, if
okay.
either of those groups would have
Union hit
gone to the
breaking.
correct
Oh
place.
my god.
Wow.
Are the
So
Union
we're
dropping this
talking
ball?
here that Union have a really good chance of winning this, but just
Dude, they just dropped the
poor
ball.
mistakes now give the Rebels a huge opportunity to win this game.
It really seems like the Union team is throwing away this victory that they had right now, really snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, as you could say. I
They're
think
not
right
on
now.
point.
I think right now the main goal of the Union is going to be to shoot them down because we have lost control of the point. You can see a whole bunch of us moving out of spawn and really disorganized. There isn't much coordination between the individual regiments and everyone else, I don't think. So you have these individual units moving out by themselves, probably dying out of line or dying in skirmishing. And this late in the game, you can't take skirmishing deaths. You can't afford out of line deaths, as it will drop us down to final push, and that will really drop down the timer to the fact where we won't have enough time to formulate an effective counterattack onto point.
Certainly, unless the Union artillery is able to pull magic out of their butts. Did I speak too soon? No, they overshot. Okay. Unless the Union. Okay, I'm sorry. They tried a burst shot, so maybe that killed somebody. I don't know. This Union artillery seems to be able to burst fire, which is very impressive. If you don't know, most people just point the cannon in a direction and then let the automatic fuse go off. But if you say point the cannon right above these Confederates and then set the fuse to go off above them, you can kill a lot more people that way. Which, yeah, I don't know, because a lot of people just see from 200 yards away, they see a fucking burst cloud and they're like, oh my god, we killed 1 billion people, but they kill one person. That's just how the nature of this game is. You can get a giant blood cloud from chopping off one guy's arm. I'm sorry, that's just a little bit of a rant there. Union artillery undershooting, and I dropped a coin. Union artillery undershooting, and the Confederates have formed a massive lineup here. Union.
Yeah, Union were just so disorganized. I think they were shocked that they didn't win the game there, and they were just telling everyone to desperately run the point. And now the Union, because this map is so huge, the Union are just completely spread out. They're disorganized. They should try to reformat somewhere, possibly spawn.
Maybe charge down this road right here, right?
It looks like some of them are doing that as is.
Certainly. I mean, they're. I'm not going to say which strategy is the best here, because there are definitely differing opinions, and honestly, it depends on the situation. And sometimes just doing what the enemy doesn't expect is the best. But they can go down this road, which looks like most of them are doing, but they're too spread out. What the fuck are these guys doing over here? They're actually 200 yards away. Did the Union really expect to be able to win with just half their men?
I
don't know.
don't think. Maybe they're trying to force the rebels to be distracted by the guys on the house and push that way, which
Well,
it
it's
looks
true, but
like
that's half
rebels
the
are
force. Let's see
shifting
what the
left.
scoops are.
Some
They're
rebels
going to
are
hold this
shifting
fence right
left.
here. Looks like the Union are. The Union over here are the 5th Florida, the 5th North Carolina, and the anybody else? Is that just it? And the 1st Maryland. And looks like elements of the IVB, but I don't think that's. No, this is the IV.
Looks like
I can see Mustang and J-Man. That's about it though. Let's see.
Where are the rebels
Let's go
that
see
were
what group
shifting
this
left?
is. This flag bear's running out in the open. Mr. 1-1. He's been the other flag bearer. Yankees only have 8 minutes 30 seconds to win up back to point. And meanwhile, the group on the left over here is the 5th Florida, 7th Massachusetts, and they're saying Pickett's charge, but okay, yeah, but Pickett didn't fumble it back like that. If you weren't able to see that, guys, the Union had groups there, and groups there, and the Confederates were up there. They captured the point. If the Union here and there just moved to point, they would have won. But instead, they allowed the Confederates to move through them, in between them, onto point. Meanwhile, the Union were holding over there on the other side of the corner, which is not on the point marker. You can just see, although although the bodies have not by now disappeared, the blood stains to show you how much Union men died here, not on point. If they were on point, they would have won there.
That's
Now,
They had done it perfectly. Sorry.
now in the last few minutes of the game, as when the Union eventually hits final push, that is enough time for exactly 3 charges without putting
charges.
on.
it's 2 charges.
Was it always was it always 2 charges? I remember it
Trusty
being
said
3
2 in help
charges.
desk.
Oh, okay. So, forgive me there. Time for exactly 2 charges from spawn to the point without putting on bayonets, without getting any reloads, just sprinting right there. That it's different for the time is different for every single map because it's been calculated differently for each map depending on how long it is to run from spawn to point. So once the Union hits final push, we're going to see a whole bunch of people not putting on bayonets, just using their rifles as clubs and running in. Really just a
Union
last ditch
allowing
effort.
themselves to get flanked here. Union are driving the. Oh, points going in the Union favor.
Yeah, that group, like I said, they distracted the rebels. The Union force that pushed on the left has a opportunity to take the point here, or at least push
It's
up
now
on the
beginning to
home side.
rain. I don't know if it rained after. Did it rain after Turner's? I know this is historic. It's called Colquit's, but I think it was historically Turner's Gap, right? This is Turner's Gap. Yeah, at the base of Turner's Gap, yeah. I don't know if it rained after the Union had pushed off. Confederates now hit last stand. That is very good for the Union. Confederate artillery hitting some of their own men there.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Union
the rebels
possibly-
would charge the Union there.
Oh my God. I'm completely surprised too. I agree with that. They should have just retreated. Union looks like the Union won here. That is a huge loss for the Confederacy. Every man who died there is no longer alive for the Confederacy. Will the Union be able to re-pick up this bag? It was definitely looking very surefire there for the Union. Remember, now they're split up into 2 groups here with the Confederate group in the middle. I think that is the 7th Texas? 7th, was I right in that? 7th Texas? No, they have now moved. The 7th Texas somewhere else is now the 20th Maine AP. They are now in the center. Remember, that is advanced placement. Union now charging them down. What group is this charging out the AP, the 20th Maine? This is the 5th North Carolina charging out the 20th Maine with the 4th North Carolina and the bowels of the 20th New York to boot. Like, oh, look at these 2 guys, both with Grug mode on. This is late game war of rights for you. Oh, Mr. Bowles kills him before Haas was able to get in there. Haas didn't actually finish the job, I don't think.
See,
This is an insane melee down here. Union
think
arc
the Union
capturing the
win.
point doesn't mean much. Well, who knows? Because
actually,
right
rebels
now,
are now trickling in. And I think rebels are going to
Exactly.
win that in the end.
if I do recall, the Union final push timer for this map is around 6 minutes. So if they have final push, they won't lose much time. So they might as well pretend right now that they already are in final push. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, you can see now through the. I'm sorry, I gotta show this. No, there's like a fight going on. Look, the rock formation goes below the thing because this is actually a different rock formation that they just like this is a very common rock formation. Like this exact rock is like 80 places, but they like you, I'm sorry. It's like the houses. I like they look at houses.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the Union are not currently holding the men on point. However, they have 4 minutes left to kill all these Confederates. Let's hope now the Union actually hold on point. You know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're not holding up. They're on the wrong side of the wall. These guys aren't on point. Do they know they're not on point? I wonder. Surely not.
No, most people do not know where the capture points are. At
I'm
least,
surprised
I
that
mean,
none
I
of the
don't even
commanders
know
are
where
yelling
they
them
are.
out.
I'm learning stuff just watching you explain this.
So-
If I remember correctly, I'm sorry.
If you switch to my perspective right now,
Which
if
I
I
will.
press T, you can see that big symbol in the middle of the open field. That is point. This stone wall is not point, but you see all the Union is holding on this stone wall instead of it on this field. That is going to keep us from capping this point super hard. All of us right
There
now
are-
are. Keep going.
Sorry, there are certain areas on the stone wall where you can be on point, but it's a straight line that goes like right across it. Both sides know what a burst fire looks like.
Yeah, I would agree.
Airburst,
CSA
I'm sorry,
already is
airburst was
finally
the
going to be able to do something after not doing much for this whole round, assuming
Oh,
there's
God.
any left.
I think right now best move for the Union would be to bayonet and then run down this road right here because they still have 3 minutes left. That's enough time to get over here. And then to go on the Confederate flank. But I think instead of going on the Confederate flank, they're all just going to go on this wrong side of the stone wall. Oh God. Oh God, they're going in single file. They're going in by themselves.
The trickle
Look
in.
at this. Oh no.
This is.
This hurts to see.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Union is slowly trickling in, maybe getting a kill or two. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. Seems to be confusion.
From our bird's eye, Union now. Okay, as you can see, Union had final push and didn't lose any time. Union are just. What are they doing? They have to know where the point is. They must just not care. Their priority right now, I think, is just killing these Confederates. Which, okay, now looking at this, there's not that many Confederates left. The Union might not have completely dropped the bag, and maybe their goal for the past few minutes has just been only to kill Confederates, not to get on point. So maybe
Yeah.
we've been judging them too harshly.
Yeah, because trying to take a point in the middle of the field while there's still maybe 10, 15 rebels shooting at you, it would be kind of hard to do. And
Certainly.
some of the rebels are pulling back, which I don't understand why
All
they
of
would
them are not
do.
pulling back.
Okay.
Well, there's only like 20 of them alive, not even.
Rebels
Yeah, never
running
mind.
around.
Okay, it does look like although the Union's positioning was not well on this map, they were, or I'm sorry, not well in the last couple minutes, they were definitely still killing Confederates. Which, although they were probably kill negative, we can see now that they are capturing the point because they have been getting respawns in. So now let's see now that yes, the men are now transferring into the field now. This is exactly what they need. They're playing well again. This is like early game for them.
Yeah, for sure. This was a
almost
very
dropped the ball
interesting
there.
match to watch. I will say a bunch of twists and turns that usually you don't see in these type of matches.
It reminds me very much of a game we once played against the Sussy Brigade. We went very much the same, except back and forth. But then eventually the Confederates were in the lead. But now it looks like the Union are they're holding a better position here. I don't know how many Confederates left alive, but I don't think it's enough to face off against 92 Yankee soldiers.
Yeah, for
We can see
sure.
now that I wonder if the Cannoneers are ever going to charge. Because they're not gonna get any more kills.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Yeah,
there's
I
a minute
mean,
20 left in the game now.
maybe they're just trying to get a few more shots off before like 30 seconds left and then charge in maybe one or two, at least one.
Yeah, I don't think they care about charging. I mean, artillerists generally don't their main goal is to kill people, which it's cool and all, but it doesn't help you win games.
Yeah, especially in times like right now. Unless they kill all the Union team with one shot, which they don't. It's yeah.
I hope you saw
this is
that.
the deal.
One of them shot canister, but then it looked like that one they severely undershot, but they set the fuse too high, and it just bounced until it was harmless and didn't kill anybody. That was interesting. These guys, maybe they need to be shown this that clip right there because I think they should adjust how they shoot. As you can see here now, the Union definitely they know where the point is, and they killed everybody who was on point. There were no Confederates near it to be considered a defender. So yeah.
And that
Oh, they
is-
march.
Yeah, it is
And
cool.
and
That
there we
is-
go.
Yeah, that's the end of the round. We'll start with debrief with myself and our other commentator Sevi, and then we'll go to the bird's eye view, not the bird's eye view, but the field line view from Royal. See how I was doing. The first round, I mean, it was a very hard map for the Union to win. Union did okay with it. I thought CSA kind of capped a little early and did some stuff incorrectly, but other than that, I thought they did fine. In terms of the second map, just shock and awe. Poor plays by both sides by the end of the round there, which Union still won despite all their mistakes, but they should definitely take note of this going in the future.
Mhm.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, certainly. I agree with that about the first round. How the first round, I think what we said while going into it was it applied to the whole thing. The Union boxed themselves in that corn and just they didn't. Oh, look at that! A lot of kills though. Union took more losses as the attacker, so that's expected. Sorry. The Confederates were able to maneuver around and force the Union to do whatever they wanted. The Confederates didn't want to cap a battle ready. They wanted to wait for engage, which is something valid. But just it's different. And they were able to pull out the W. But I don't know how much of it was due to the Confederates, the Confederate strategy of not early capping, or the Union strategy of turtling. The turtling did not help the Union there, I don't think. On the second round, looking at the timer though, or looking at the clock now, it is 9:50 EST. I'm thinking that at the beginning of the game, they were playing it very by the book, like how you expect Colquits to go. The Union push up the left, and then they win, and then they fold in the Confederates back to their spawn, and then they cap the point by the safe breaking. That's what you expect. But the Union, I think, after an hour and a half of playing, they were just tired, and they weren't able to to move that quickly. So I think we judged them a little bit too harshly there. At least I did, I think, because they were able to pull out that dub and they didn't drop the bag completely. So that's what I think about the 2 rounds.
That's for sure. How about our field line reporter, Royal Ace? How did it go for you?
So I was in the position of the first round, mistakenly be going on the CSA team. So I saw for the first round both sides, at least for a little bit. And I think that at first the CSA, you saw the end of round screen for the first round, how the CSA was really pouring it in with those extra casualties in the beginning. And I'm getting a glitch now with my trying to spawn in again. Uh, and then I switched over to the Union team. You could see on the first map, Reno's Fall is a little bit more biased towards CSA, and you really get that with the Union being forced out into the stone wall, into enfilading fire from all the sides.
Server crash.
Seems the server's gone down. And then for the second round, going with the Union the entire time, doing that tried and true method of going on the left side into those woods, making sure that the CSA are held there in place while a few people go up there on the right side like it happened later on in the game. And you also saw at the beginning, the CSA really could have made a better use of their artillery position. That artillery is just in such a commanding position on Cox's Bush. You didn't see that being used until
Colquit's.
later on. Sorry, on Colquit's. You don't see, yeah, you didn't see that being used. And then you had later on in the game both amazing artillery going on with airburst. It's very hard to airburst shells currently in War of Rights. You have to, most people, like Sevi said earlier in the match, just manually, just automatically let the cannon calculate the fuse length. But you can see those people were physically making the fuses shorter, so we get that really awesome airburst going on inside the lines, killing a lot of people. But the plays as we're going on in the match, some of them were seeming a bit nonsensical. And then as the Union, at the very end of that match, as I was saying, the Union was really making some really weird plays and calls, and they almost lost the match to them. It only was in the end that we eliminated all the rebels as they were in last stand, and we finally won the match. So definitely some weird calls, but in the end, the Union did go 1-1 with the Confederates.
That is for
Yes.
sure. Now it was a 1-1. Who would you guys say won tonight's event? We'll take a vote, and whichever team wins, we will declare them the winner of this event. Royal, you go first. Who do you think won?
Honestly, I think I have to go with. I actually really think it is a fair tie, 1-1.
Okay. Savvy?
But
You know,
Oh, sorry.
uh,
No,
but
no.
I think that the Union did edge him out a bit, slightly.
Okay. Thank you for that, Savvy.
looking at both rounds, the the main thing that's hitting me against the Confederates is that I love early capping. I'm just biased towards that, and then they did not want early cap. Um, However, on the first round, they played. I think the Confederates played everything perfectly on the first round. And on the second round, the Confederates, I they should have fallen back. And although the Confederates, they did do well in the first round, I think that their win in the first round was less due to them playing well and more to the Union's poor strategy. Which I know sounds bad for the Union, but the Union were able to play so well from such a bad strategy that it just surprises me. So because of that, I have to say that the Union definitely, I agree with Royal. It edged them out.
All right. In that case, my vote doesn't even matter, and the
I want to hear it
Union
anyways.
is declared the overall winner of tonight's event. I probably would have edged out CSA, but
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh,
So
shots fired.
all right. Thank you all for watching this. All of the regiments who participated tonight will be in the description below, their Discords. Our Discord will also be in the description if you want to join, give us some ideas. Join us. The more commentators and sideline reporters we have, the better it will be. From your
Especially
team,
from other regiments, more perspectives. Sorry.
that is very true. We can get other matches other than ones with the IVB in it. But yeah, from our team, as Guardian Eagle, that one's Sevi and Royal Ace. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, or subscribe. Anyone got any quick notes at the end?
Go to church.
All right. In that case, thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. See you guys later.